There is a communal spirit which encompasses the Fitchburg-Leominster football game each year. A feeling of competitive fire passed on from father to son, from brother to brother, from generation to generation. It is a feeling that grows ever stronger as game day nears, like the swelling tide, and it reaches its apex on Thanksgiving Day. For these are the rites of autumn, the stuff of which legends are woven through this ancient schoolboy rivalry.
Coming up here from Texas, I thought Thanksgiving would be just another big football game. I saw as many as 32,000 for a high school state game there in Texas. It was in the Cotton Bowl, and it looked like no one was there. So Thanksgiving morning, that fall of '67, it snowed a couple of days before, and the snow was piled up waist deep along the sides of the field, and it was raining and freezing rain, and having played in warm weather all my life, I just couldn't believe that we were going to have a football game. And then the stands were full on top of, you know, the rain and the snow, and John Hulicki had moved from a tackle to a tight end, and it so happened that by this great move by Huck Hannigan putting Hulicki at the tight end, we weren't ready for a tight end to receive the football, and they beat us about 18-0. And so as we were walking off of the field, the drunks was climbing over the fence and throwing snowballs and empty beer bottles at us, and right then I knew that it wasn't a football game, it was the Civil War all over.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to LATV Action Sports. I'm Ed Cataldo. With me this morning, we have Mr.
Todd Robbins. How are you?
Welcome
Good to be
back
here,
from Syracuse. Nice to see you here. We're here at Crocker Field for the 121st meeting of the Leominster Blue Devils versus the Fitchburg Red Raiders. Kind of a rainy day, but really the skies have broken as far as rain. We should expect a great game here today. The crowds are slowly filling up. We would like to see a lot more crowd here by this time. It's approximately 5 minutes at 10, and we're almost ready to get going, and the stands are kind of down.
On the one thing we hear every year, Ed, is the reason that the crowd does not turn out is because the game is live on TV. Well, it is live here in the city of Fitchburg. It is on tape delay in the city of Leominster. Right now, that argument's losing severely.
That's right. We also have my partner, Jack Sully. We got to pull him in the camera here.
Hi, guys.
We're up on the roof of Crocker Field. Jack, we expect a good game out of the Blue Devils today. The captains are meeting out at the center field now. But what do you think for today, Jack?
Ed, I expect a good game. I'm hoping that the Blue Devils can peak today. If they play as good as they can play, I think that they can whoop Fitchburg for the first time in 6 years. Again, I want to go back a little bit. I am totally, I haven't held any punches all year. I'm not going to hold any now. I'm totally disappointed with the size of the Leominster crowd. The people that are here should be commended. The people out here are the fans. I mean, there's 1,200 kids. Well, how many kids? There's 2,000 kids at Leominster High School. I mean, it should be a requirement for them to be here to support their fan. I mean, every big school, Todd, you go to Syracuse University, I mean, they fill the Carrier Dome.
Yes,
they fill it, and it builds school spirit. It builds city spirit. I'm totally disgusted right now at the amount of people I'm seeing on the Leominster side. However, the people that are here, I commend. You are the fans. You are what is going to have to bring this thing back to the way it was.
Well, we are using the Fitchburg FATV. We'd like to thank them today for their feed. We are using their video feed. We do have our own audio feed, so we'll be switching back and forth a few cameras that we have set up. And you can see yours truly on the camera now with Todd and my partner Jack. And we will, the coin toss was done. I didn't quite see who won it. But the teams are jumping around in their huddles, and we're just about to get underway.
Well, it should be an interesting game, Ed. And, there's a few things historically that I've been looking at. In the series, currently Fitchburg 58, 53, and 9 overall. Leominster 53, 58, and 9. Obviously, they've both been here together, so their records would be exact opposites, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
Score, though, an interesting stat. 1,623 to 1,425 in favor of Fitchburg lifetime over this series. I mean, 121st meeting overall, their 99th Turkey Bowl, and we're right here on LATV. It can't be happier to be here. It's great to be back.
This is the national anthem.
Well, guys, Thanksgiving morning, 2004, the 121st meeting of Fitchburg and Leominster. How many years we got? 1894, 1994 was 100, so we're talking 110 years. One of the biggest traditions in the country.
7th largest.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I didn't sleep well last night,
No?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't sleep last night.
Well,
it is tough, and I'll be really honest. I mean, personally, I know, and now the 6 years straight, haven't won national anthem. Let's take that. We'll come back to that.
And that was a combination of the Leominster Blue Devil Band and the Fitchburg High School Band playing in conjunction with each other for the national anthem. A very nice thing to be doing.
Who says they can't come together in these two towns and do something positive?
Well, I see the guys are fighting. No, I'm just kidding. The trombone is going after the guy with the drum. And no, they're fine. That was a great job. Both bands have come a long way in the past few years. The director for the Leominster Blue Devils, Jack usually steps right in and tells me who he is.
Barry Hudson. I'm trying to direct.
Jack is going to do multitask here today. We've got all kinds of equipment, wires, and everything else, but Jack will do that. Barry Hudson's done a great job with Leominster High Band. We've always talked about them. They work very, 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 very hard. They've really come up in a lot of numbers since a few years back when they had 5 or 6 people.
They got to get enough people, though, so they can do a spell out. That's the one thing I said this morning that I miss. Is every game the Syracuse band gets together and they do the spell out. They spell out Syracuse.
And how many are in the Syracuse band?
It's huge. I couldn't even really make a guess. It's a big band.
Yeah, they are big. I saw them on the TV a few weeks ago.
A few hundred people. And again, the spell out, there's nothing cooler when the crowd gets into it and they're spelling it out. We're going to do an LHS out here one year. Yeah. Not necessarily in this stadium, but maybe in the future. Ed, before we went to the national anthem, I was saying, 6 years I've been doing TV here. I've yet to see or call or been a part of a winner. I think a lot of people are frustrated with that. I think today you've got a great shot at seeing it. I mean, we say it every year, but this year I think the combination is right. The grouping of people here, the talent level, I think you got a great shot at seeing a winner here today.
Well, if you looked in the paper and the number of wins in a row, and you get back to 1989, before we get the kickoff, the Fitchburg High had won 6 in a row, and then Leominster won 1. Then Leominster won 6 in a row. Fitchburg won one. Now Fitchburg has won the last 6 in a row. Should be the Leominster day, I would hope.
I would hope so.
Well, the Blue Devils just getting ready. They've lost the coin toss. They will kick to the Fitchburg Red Raiders. Doing the kicking for the Blue Devils is Adam Cordio. We're just about underway for the Turkey Day kickoff here at FHS. Taken down around the 5-yard line, up across the 20, just up around the 25, and he's hit hard at the 25-yard line. For Fitchburg, that was Duchesne Perkins running that ball back. Fitchburg will take over 1st and 10 on their own 25.
Great stick over the middle by number 2, John Hernandez. Came in over the middle, stuck his tackle, put him on the ground. Great job how to square up and make a hit.
Ed, last year when we watched this game, Fitchburg scored early, and I think they kind of took the wind out of Leominster's sails. I'm hoping that Leominster can come out real strong today and continue with the momentum throughout the game. If they put a couple on the board and just keep sticking it to Fitchburg, I think they got a good chance of winning here.
So Raschuti comes out on the center, checks the defense. You have an eye backfield. So the first man through the middle. He's trying to drive his way up forward. Tough thing to do against the Blue Devils is run up the middle. That's number 33 for the Red Raiders, which is Edledge Wright.
Yeah, it's the fullback, 33, Eldred Wright.
Eldridge, that's it.
Fantastic going up the middle. Again, one of the big banging backs. They have 2 of them. The other one is McDonald. It'll be a question as to whether we'll see him today. He's been nursing a couple of injuries. He had pulled a pectoral muscle earlier in the year and now suffering from a rolled ankle. We'll see if he plays today.
A gain of 2 yards in the last play. It makes it 2nd and 8. Balls on the Fitchburg 28-yard line. Second man to the right side, trying to go off tackle. Gain of about 2 yards. Going to be 3rd and about 7.
Asking you shall receive. There he is, number 20, John McDonald. So the question is answered. It'll be interesting to see whether he is able to continue throughout the day, but currently in the game.
That would be Justin McDonald?
Yes.
Yes.
It has rained all night, but the field looks like it's in pretty good condition. Usually Crocker Field after a rainstorm can turn into a mud pit, a quagmire. And right now it looks like, except for in the middle where the grass is a little sparse, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. It had a chance to dry out. Let's just hope that the boys pounding on the turf doesn't turn it into that quagmire that we're so familiar with.
3rd and 7 from the Fitchburg 30-yard line. It's a second man trying to go up the middle. He breaks to the left side. Cordio comes up, makes a tough hit. Saves a tough first down. It's just going to be short. It's going to be 4th and about 5.
Cordio coming in from the free safety spot, sees the guy coming up over the middle. He's the last line of defense before they can spring to the outside. Saw the back, squares up, makes his hit, put him on the turf, force 4th down.
Fitchburg is known for their front line. Their offensive line did the job. They opened up the hole, but Cordio, as you said, stepped up and plugged it right up. That's what he's going to have to do all day long because this FHS line is going to be tough.
Let's take a look at this punt formation. Remember what happened last year on the 4th and about the same yard line. Fitchburg High went for it, but I don't think they're in the mood today to go against the Blue Devils with trick plays yet. So it's a nice kick by the punter. It's going to be taken by Cordio on the 40-yard line. Jibbed and jabs right and left. Cordio's breaking back to the right side. He's taken down just across the 50-yard line. The Blue Devils take over 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
A couple of hits he took, spun away like a slippery eel, and that's what Cordio's been doing all year long, Todd.
Did a good job looking, keeping his eye on the ball. He knew the pressure was coming at him. Did a good job to find the ball, stay with the ball, get it, and then make his cut.
So today, Dean Boise has come in to start for the quarterback for the Blue Devils. Derek Craig was on the field warming up before the game, but Boise, who had a great game against Shrewsbury, is going to quarterback. So the Blue Devils come out 1st and 10 on their own 50-yard line. Boise checks the defense. You have Cordio and Bizzato in the back, so you have a splits right, which is Stevie Shaw. It's the second man to Cordio. He's blasting up over the left side, and Fitchburg comes in to try to stick it, but Cordio, because it's patented 2-yard gain, it's going to make it 2nd and about 8.
Go ahead, Jack.
Interesting observation. I was watching Anthony Bizzato on that, and Fitchburg had about 2 or 3 guys, and where he went, they were just hitting him, and that's what they did last year. They were able to tie him up, but let's see what happens. Let's see what he can do to him.
Cordio coming into today's game, 128 carries for 923 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's had a great season.
Let's see if he can break that 1,000 mark today. If he goes run his typical runs, he should maybe make that. He's got to get about, 77 yards?
Yep, just about. All
right, so 2nd and about 7. Ball's down on the Fitchburg Raider 47-yard line. Boise up, first man through. It's Bizzato trying to pound his way up the middle. He's still digging forward. There's a powerful run of Anthony Bizzato. Gain of about 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd and about 2.
What's great about Bizzato is he can run out of either the fullback spot, which is a more common position, or they can drop him back into the tailback spot. It gives him a different look, something to keep the defense thinking about. Bizzato's had a great season as well, splitting time with Cordio. 98 carries, 981 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
Todd, he had a wall in front of him comprised of both Leominster and Fitchburg players, and the power of his legs continually driving made him push that whole pile, and he gained 3 or 4 yards on the play.
So with 3rd and about 2 yards to go, Boise takes the LHS Blue Devils out to the line. You have an eye backfield. We got a little motion. It's going to hurt the Blue Devils. Blue Devils can't afford to be having penalties like this today. They had a 3rd and 2. Now it's going to be a 3rd and 8.
It's a hard count there with Boise. Unfortunately, again, new quarterback, a little bit of a different cadence. He's going to sound a little bit different. The line may take a little bit to get used to him.
And all year long, and Todd, we've talked about how if Leominster can execute correctly, minimize the mistakes, they can pretty much beat anyone. They're going to have to watch out. I know their emotions are running high right now. They probably get a little bit of butterflies going, but they're going to have to concentrate just a little bit extra to execute correctly in order to beat this Fitchburg team.
Yeah, you don't want to make those kind of mistakes on a 3rd and 2 and set yourself back to a 3rd and 8. The ball's down back to the 47-yard line of Fitchburg, 3rd and 8 for the Blue Devils. Boise, an eye backfield. Stevie Shaw split right. It's a fake to both backs. Boise's rolling to the right. He's covered. He throws the ball out in the flats. It's intercepted. Looking for Bizzotto in the flats. The ball is intercepted by number 6 of the Red Raiders. That's David Garay. And FHS takes over 1st and 10 on the 50-yard line.
And that's 2 mistakes in a row. Concentration is down. Again, a new quarterback in there. We talked to Chris Young yesterday in a sports talk, and he mentioned that everyone was healthy on this Blue Devil team. And we're wondering why Craig isn't out there. I mean, he had quarterbacked the team all year long. You figure if he's healthy, he should be out there.
It was a good sell on the play-action fake. They initially bit on it, but he rolled and didn't look downfield. He just hucked the ball up to the first receiver he saw, and unfortunately, they got a guy between him and the passing lane.
So the Red Raiders take over 1st and 10 on their own 48-yard line. 1st and 10. Going to the left side, and it's taken down, and Sean Edge on the initial hit. And he's still trying to dig out. Number 23 for the Raiders, which I don't have. I can't tell you who he is.
That's 20, Justin McDonald going to the far side, Ed. He got caught in the pack, and again, he a lot like Bizzotto, the heavy, hard-hitting back. He'll drive you forward. You got to stick him down, get as many men on him as you need to.
Sean Edge made a great initial hit. Back almost slipped away, like you were saying, Todd. You got to follow up that first hit. Sean Edge is like a razor all year long. We're going to nickname him the Razor.
So a loss of 1 yard on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Ball's back to the 46-yard line of the Raiders. It's a second man straight up the middle. It's McDonald again up the middle, trying to run up the strength of the Leominster defense. Coach Cosenza must have something up his sleeve.
He does. He's going to try to wear him down like Brockton did. He's going to try to wear him down like BC High did. You know that any team that is under the tutelage of Coach Ray Cosenza is going to be in tremendous physical condition, and he's probably hoping that he can just keep pounding it to Leominster and eventually wear him down.
Nice job by the defensive line of the Devils, though, to press forward, get the separation. You can get your linebacker in there to make the hit. That's a nice job up front. Devils winning the battle on the line of scrimmage on that play.
Gain of 2 yards on the play. It's going to make it 3rd and about 8.
Key play right now.
Ball's on the FHS 48-yard line. 6:36 to go in the first quarter. No score here at Fitchburg High School. It's a fake to the backs. It's pitch out to the flats to the right side. It's completed to number 81. Which is Matt Tebow.
Interesting, Ed. We were watching the Chicken Bowl and the Pigeon Bowl last week, and we said, well, maybe they're just using this to test out their plays. And you noticed a lot of play-action calls, and that was the first of it, and perhaps they tested it out, and it was perfectly executed. Again, execution, execution, execution.
It's almost Coach Ray Cosenza saying to the Devils, this is how you run the rollout play. He calls the rollout play-action fake, rolls out, finds the open tight end. Nice job by Raschuti to find the open man.
Raiders up across the midfield now down to the Leominster 41-yard line, 1st and 10. Raschuti, first man up, dives straight up the middle. He's stacked up by Sean Edge, number 23. It's going to be a loss of about a yard on the play, I believe, on the mark. It's going to make it 2nd and 11.
It's that penetration again, guys. You're going to see it all day long. The Devils can stop the running game up the middle if they drive their legs, get the penetration on the defensive line, get your middle linebacker in there. Again, they did a nice job there on that play, but they've got to continue to do it.
So the Blue Devils, we talked a little bit about before the game and maybe what Fitchburg's strategy is to, try to keep this game even until maybe into an overtime and then do some aggressiveness on offense. But Fitchburg Red Raiders come straight out at him. Raschuti is out. We have splits right and left. We have an eye backfield to the second man, McDonald. He breaks on the left side. He's got a big gap over the left side. Makes one cut. Taken down by number 2, which is Jonathan Hernandez, and made a saving tackle. He was going a long way.
Big, powerful running back.
Hernandez saw the gap over on the far side. He was out on a pass assignment and initially bid on that, came back to the gap, found the running back in McDonald, put him on the turf. That's a nice job to leave your assignment and get there when you know you've been beat.
Gain of about 4 yards on the play. It's going to make a 3rd and about 4.5 for the Raiders. Ball sitting on the 35-yard line of the Blue Devils. just underway. 4:47 to go in the first quarter. No score. Raiders on the move. Raschuti checks the defense. We have an eye backfield, splits right and left. It's to the up man. Diving off left tackle. He's driving forward. It's going to be close to a first down. Depending on the mark, I believe it is a first down.
Ed, so far, Todd, Fitchburg is executing the way a team that is spit-shined and peaking should be executing. We saw Leominster make 2 mistakes. Again, we should expect nothing except that under the, again, I'm going to just keep commending Coach Ray Cosenza. Every time he comes in on Thanksgiving, his team is prepared. These guys are ready.
Well, Jack, you alluded to it earlier. They're physically ready, but they're also mentally ready. Coach Cosenza knows what he needs to do to get his team to a certain point to be ready to play.
So first and 10 Raiders on the 30-yard line of the Blue Devils. Put a motion man to the right side. It's the second man to McDonald. He breaks up over tackle and is taken down on a nice tackle by number 31, which is Billy Brooks.
I'd feel safer with a wrap tackle there, but I'll take the shoulder block into the knees if you've got to. Do what you got to do. Put him on the turf in a game like this.
Ryan Maheen?
Maheen.
Ryan Maheen made it. You talk about, we all throughout the season talk about downfield blocking. And Ryan Maheen was completely out of the play, but he was 10 yards down the field, and he just put a stick on Cordio and stuck with him the whole time. Cordio was tied up. If the ball went to that side, there was nobody there to get him.
Gain of 2 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 8 for the Raiders. We have an eye backfield. It's the second man. It's a new back into the game, and he's taken down there. A gain of about 1 yard. That was Duchesne Perkins doing the running for the Raiders.
Deshaun Perkins, a very impressive back. Saw him grow up through the Pigeon and Chicken Bowl. He's actually, I believe, a junior this year. I've seen him over the last couple of years playing in the Pigeon Chicken Bowl games. He's a great back. He's young. He's lighter. He's quicker. He's more of the Cordio in comparison in the team between McDonald and Perkins on the Fitchburg side.
And right now, what I'm noticing is the Fitchburg front line, again, is they're just driving Leominster back on the heels. They're gaining on every play.
That was a gain of about 1 on that last play. It's 3rd and 7. It's the second man, Perkins. He's going to break over the right side of the tackle. Big hole, and just got enough of him to bring him down across the 15-yard line to the 14-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10. Raiders placed the ball down on the 15-yard line. Here we go.
That was a humongous hole. And the blocks were not just tapped and let go. They stuck with their blocks, and they maintained the opening.
You had a tackle opportunity coming up the middle, and they attempted an arm tackle. You can't arm tackle in this game. You have to square up and stick your man. He's small, he's elusive, he's quick and can make a final move. He can beat you. You have to stick him.
1st and 10 Raiders on the 15-yard line of the Blue Devils. And the first man up the middle, running off tackle. Wrapped up by number 67 of the Blue Devils, Peter Gunarides. And it's a gain of about 2 yards on the play.
Devils doing a good job to follow Eldridge right. He's kind of the third man in the running formation. He gives him another look, another option on the running play. But again, the Devils doing a good job to kind of track him. See where he's coming out of the fullback spot. They're only running a dive over the middle with him, so they're doing a good job to stack it up in the middle, get the penetration, and stop him.
It's 2nd and 8. Ball's on the Blue Devil 11-yard line. Raschuti checks the defense with an eye backfield. You have twins left. It's to this side to Perkins. Perkins breaking off tackle. He's down around the 4-yard line and just knocked down. I think Bozzato was in on that to make a saving tackle. Ball's being placed down on the Blue Devil 4-yard line. It's 1st and goal, Raiders.
This has been a great drive for them, Ed. They've been moving their way upfield. They've been driving and kicking and screaming and continuing to advance the sticks on 3rd down. They've done a great job moving it downfield. They're going to try to cap it here with a touchdown.
And the key is mistake-free football.
The Raiders' offensive line is really firing out on the Blue Devil line and open up those gaps, and these backs are just scooting through. So we're 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. We have a full house backfield. It's to Perkins to the right side. He's trying to break in off tackle, and he's in for a touchdown.
See that arm tackle?
Perkins.
It's that arm tackle again, Ed. They had him at the goal line. You're trying to put him down with your arm. The kid's slippery. He makes a final spin. That's what puts him over the goal line. You need to stick him. You got to get a big guy on him and put him on the ground.
Well, Raiders started out this drive on an interception at the Blue Devil 45-yard line. Took it all the way down the field and put it in the end zone for a 6-point lead.
And Ed, I'm going to keep, and Todd, I'm so used to just talking to Ed all year long. But anyway, again, I will continue to preach mistakes in high school football. Again, Coach Ray Cosenza has fine-tuned these guys where they have not made a mistake in, over 8 minutes right now. Leominster has made 2. The second mistake cost them a touchdown.
And Fitchburg came out in their first drive and they looked hesitant. In this drive, they looked very good. They moved the ball downfield.
Raiders going for the 2-point conversion. Full house backfield again to Perkins. Same play as before. He's stuffed. So the Raiders are denied on the 2-point conversion. And we got a little extracurricular activity there.
And that is defensive penetration.
Gunnaridis.
Yes, that's defensive penetration. Gunnaridis on the line, penetrates, gets in, makes a hit. That's penetration. So what the Devils are going to have to do to control the running game.
Well, yeah, I think it's important now that the Blue Devils have to revamp themselves. That was a little windy up here.
Yeah,
so
we
hold
could
on
get
to
blown
everything.
right off the roof.
A little wind, a little water.
The Blue Devils have to revamp themselves here. It's still early in the game. We have 17 left to go in the first quarter. Fitchburg with a 6-0 lead, but I think it's important now the Blue Devils come out, have a good offensive series, and move the ball up and down the field, or else this one could be over early.
$1.478.
$1.298.
Yeah, that's it. $1.298.
Fitchburg did exactly what they did last year. They were able to move the ball. They had a sustained drive. They're wearing down. I mean, it's only the first quarter, but they put a lot of sticks to the Leominster front. There's a lot of guys going both ways. I think Ray Kazenza and the Fitchburg Red Raiders have accomplished what they wanted to do early in this game. They're ahead right now in this first quarter.
Jack, they do a good job game planning. That's their big thing. They game plan, they watch the video, they go, and they really do a nice job prepping for this game. You got to respect that. But again, that only lasts for a good first half, and then that's about it. If you can hang in the game, second half is a whole new ball game.
So the Blue Devils prepare to receive the kickoff from the Raiders. Back deep for the Blue Devils is 40 Anthony Bizzotto, number 1 Adam Cordio, and number 22 is Kenneth LeQueer. Those are the deep men. The wind has picked up a little bit, blowing from our right to our left.
They're talking we could get 50-mile-an-hour winds today.
Well, we won't be here long.
I'm not going far.
Todd, did you bring your kite today?
I know I'm the heaviest one on the roof. I know I'm not going anywhere.
Here's a kick. It's a squib kick down the middle. The ball's rolled down to Bizzotto, and he's going to try to pick it up just about the 20-yard line, trying to break the right side. He's got 2 men to beat out front. Bizzotto just taken down. A good run back from Bizzotto. Return of about 20 yards. The ball's going to be placed down. 1st and 10 on the LHS 36-yard line.
He bowled over number 62, Andrew Doucette from Fitchburg. He put his shoulder into him, and Andrew made the stop, but he paid it. He paid the price.
While you'd like to field that ball cleanly on the kickoff, actually it served a little bit of a purpose. The ball hit the ground. Bizzotto slow to pick it up. It allowed the blocks to develop. Bizzotto got a good push. He got 10 or 15 yards without having to hit anybody. Then he lowers the boom, gets a couple extra yards. Nice job on his part.
So the Blue Devils take over 1st and 10 in their own 36-yard line. Boise with the quarterback. It's Accordio coming off the left side, trying to run off tackle. A lot of red shirts in on that play. I think there's 2 people standing up from Red Raiders. The rest of them are on Accordio's back. Accordio with a gain of about 4 yards, 2nd and 6.
And again, the battle in, I'll call it the battle in the pit. It's like
trenches.
the battle of the bulge, the trenches. I mean, right now, it's just a swarm of red. It's like, Todd, help me here.
It's a battle at the line of scrimmage, Jack, is I think what you're trying to say. And again, Fitchburg did a nice job moving downfield when they had the ball, getting some good penetration. The Devils defense were countering that. And in this case, again, it's a battle of the line of scrimmage in a running game.
So the pitch is going to Cordio to the right side. He's trying to get outside the end. The Fitchburg Raiders trying to string it out. Cordio with the quick feet turns the corner, taken out of bounds just across the 50-yard line for a first down for the Blue Devils.
Cordio's a great back. Again, continues to move his feet. It's grit and determination. But again, a final move. He got rid of one defender. He had to deal with one, gets the first down, gets put on the turf. But a nice job to move and duck and find and get the first down.
My observation is he did it all on his own. He did.
Well, Cordio's got the speed to get outside. He got that little jab move inside, and he set up the defensive end on the free safety that came up and got him to freeze him, and then he got enough to turn the corner and pick up that first down. So it is first down for the Blue Devils just across the 50-yard line. Just under about 22 seconds to go in the first quarter. Fitchburg leading 6-0. Boise with a straight dive to Bizzotto up the middle. A big stack in the middle. Bizzotto, the workhorse up front for the Blue Devils. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 6.
This has been a fast-moving first quarter, guys. Game is moving right along. I think 1 flag so far for a false start. There hasn't been anything else. That's indicative of Thanksgiving Day games. It's been an unbelievable first quarter.
And that's going to do it for the first quarter. Excellent call there, Todd. Excellent call. Well, here we are high atop of the field at Fitchburg High.
And we are high atop.
Yes,
We're up there a good, what, 60 feet, I'd say? How do you think so, Eddie? You're a building inspector.
Yes,
Can you estimate
we're up there probably about 40 feet.
And there's some tremendous sights down below. I mean,
Life is good.
Life is good.
It's 3 spiral staircases off the ground is what I know.
How'd you guys feel coming up those stairs?
I was very dizzy when I got to the top.
Well, and you guys were telling me we were going on. When I just came up here at the end, I was down on the field talking to my folks, and I'm come running up the stairs. I got to the top, and I went, whoa, slow down. I made that extra right-hand turn.
I blamed it on the fact that I didn't eat, so I had to con Eddie out of 50 cents to buy myself a jelly donut.
Hypoglycemia.
I'm flying on jelly donuts right now.
Well, that's going to be the first quarter with the Blue Devils starting to move the ball. This is the second possession. They had that interception, which gave the ball to Fitchburg in the first quarter. They drove it down the field. They went 62 yards, and they're in for a 6-point conversion, with denied a 2-point conversion. So they lead here 6-0.
Well, it has been a late arriving crowd, guys. The crowd has turned down.
Yes,
As this
crowd,
first quarter moved along, the crowd is filled in.
You know, I'm not going to eat my words yet, but right now we're getting, there's a good-sized crowd here. Maybe everybody in the 21st century, the year 2004, just likes to stay in bed a little. Longer.
All right, Jack, here we go. We're getting back to the start of the second quarter here. Blue Devils with the ball. It's 2nd and 7. Ball's on the Raiders' 40-yard line. Pitch to Cordio, trying to go to the left side. Defensive end of the Fitchburg Red Raiders did a nice job. Pizarro tried to get out there and block him, just couldn't do it.
For some reason, it was almost like a beagle on a rabbit right there, almost like they smelled the play. Like a beagle smells where the rabbit is. They smelled what play was coming.
Well, we won't say anything right now.
But Cordio's grit and determination, guys, he almost broke away there. The guy was slipping and sliding on the mud that's starting to collect on their uniforms. He almost broke away. And again, that's a one-man play, driving and continuing to have that grit and drive.
Todd, I've been watching almost too long. 6 years is enough. We're looking for the let's take it to the goal line.
3rd and 7. Ball still on the Raider 45-yard line. It's a pitch to Hernandez to the left side. He's trying to break off tackle, and he's stacked up at the line. Gain of about 2 yards. That's going to make it 4th and about 4.
That was not what the Raiders were expecting there. I think they were a little surprised they saw Hernandez in there. Maybe thought it would be a play-action fake. Again, Hernandez gets the ball, gets good penetration off the far side. Comes up a few yards short here, and they're going to have to punt.
Hernandez has shown some tremendous acceleration all year long. He's an exciting runner to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him the ball enough to see him pop one through.
So the Blue Devils will kick. Cordio, left-footed kicker, kicks it out. It's going down to the left coffin corner. He kicks it out of bounds. Depending on where the spot is, it's going to be close to on the 20-yard line, I believe. So the Red Raiders take over 1st and 10 on their own 20. No, it's 20.
Well, mark it at the 18.
All right, let's say it's 25-yard line.
It's been an interesting job, guys. I mean, moving along the far side, Cordio, again, doing a nice job to field a bad snap, excuse me. Ball was low. He had to recover. And, again, a muddy football is going to be tough for the long snapper today. Did a nice job to recover, get a kick away, and not bad. That is the equivalent of basically kicking it through the end zone in the NFL. Basically give them a touchback. They're actually at their own 18. So
no return on that play. So the ball did set down about 18-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 Raiders. As they take over, we have an eye backfield. They have twins right to the first man up, man, trying to go over the guard. Nowhere on the Blue Devils on that time. Blue Devils stacked that one up clean in the middle.
Ed, did you ever watch the fight when Muhammad Ali fought? I may have talked about this before. Muhammad Ali, when he fought George Foreman and he upset him in that.
Yes.
The fight in where was it?
Zaire? Was that the Thriller?
Zaire? No,
Zaire.
It was
the Rumble in the Jungle.
Well, one of the things he did was when he
was
had the chance to hold his weight on Foreman, when Foreman was trying to get up, he just leaned on him and he relaxed and held his weight on him, so Foreman had to struggle to get up, and that's what I see the Fitchburg line doing. They're really going to wear this Leominster line down.
A gain of no yards on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. To the second man to the right side, McDonald, I believe that is, and he's thrown back by the Blue Devil defense. They're really starting to swarm.
Yes.
Gain of about 2 yards. It's going to be 3rd and about 8.
The defense is going to have to drive the team today, guys. They're going to have to make a big defensive stand, spark the offense. They take the field, and they're going to drive it back. But they've got to be the ones to drive and push and force this through. The defense has got to set the tone.
I know it's early in the game right now, but to this point, this is the key play. Right now, if Leominster can stop them on this 3rd down, I think that they can get the ball in decent field position with a little momentum going and perhaps break one loose.
It's 3rd and 8 for the Raiders. Ball sitting on the Raiders' 19.5-yard line. Just underway in the second quarter.
Don't be too surprised if you see that play action roll out to the far side again. Twins to the top side of this formation.
Raschuti checks the defense. He's second man coming out the left side. Makes a cut to the outside. Cordio came flying up to make the hit, and he just spun around him and got away, and I don't believe there's going to be enough for a first down.
I think he's going to spot it at the first down, the way I saw it. What do you think? It's going to
be short. It's going to be short about 2 yards.
Good. Good. I saw him walking to the left.
First down was at about the 28-yard line. They marked him short of the 25 at the 24-yard line. So about 4 yards short here. And again, still good field position depending on how the punter is. Having not seen, I believe Raschuti does the punting for the Raiders. Having not seen his leg yet, again, should end up with decent field position around midfield.
Brian Raschuti will do the punting for the Raiders. 4th and about 2. Maybe we can get a bad snap. It does. Raschuti dropped it, gets the kick off. It's a low kick, get a good roll. Fitchburg roll all the way, stayed in bounds. It's going to roll, be dead just around the 26-yard line. A great kick by Raschuti and a good roll for the Fitchburg Red Raiders.
How often, Ed, do you ever see something like that work, though? I mean, a line drive off a bad snap, he gets up, he shanks it. It's a low liner, and instead of putting it down the middle of the field where the mud is, he just had a recovering kick. He put it on the only patch of grass I can see down there, and it rolled like it was on turf all the way down inside the 30.
The lights are on. Mary Poppins has come to visit us. The umbrella is out. We got a little drizzle coming.
It's definitely a little drizzle. So the Blue Devils take over 1st and 10. Ball's being placed down in their own 26-yard line. 1st and 10. See if the Blue Devils can take this ball down the field. Boise still quarterbacking for the Blue Devils. You have Bizzardo and Cordio in the backfield. Stevie Shaw split right. It's the Cordio right up over left tackle, pushing himself forward. Typical Cordio run. Put his head down and drives himself forward. Pick up about 6 yards. Going to be 2nd and 4.
The number of carries that Cordio has had this year has been very impressive. With 128 carries, I mean, that's unbelievable for an individual. I mean, 128 carries, he had less yards than Bizzardo, but 128 carries is very impressive. Thank you, Ed, by the way. This is nice.
Just went and got another umbrella to try to keep our equipment dry. It's going to be 2nd and, I'll say 2nd and 5. Ball's on the Blue Devil 32-yard line. Boise up under the center. We have Stevie Shaw split left. They have an eye backfield. And straight dive to Bizzardo. It's a typical first down push for Bizzardo as he drives forward. From our vantage point, he has the first down. Anthony Bizzardo, a strong runner. This is the meat and potatoes of this offensive run. When they need some 3, 4, 5 yards, you give it to Bizzardo, let him put his head down and run.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Anthony Bizzardo in the state fair this fall, doing the old tractor pull. You could, he could pull a tractor with his teeth the way he's driving those legs.
Bizzardo's getting some great looks nationally, guys. He's going to be a great collegiate player. I know he's got to look at Syracuse. I saw him out there.
Well, we hope he doesn't go there.
Game. I'd love to see him there. That would be great. But, I mean, he's getting some looks. He's a great back, strong guy. They like the grit and determination.
1st and 10 from the Blue Devils' 38-yard line. Boise checks the defense. Give to Cordio. Slipped a little bit. Gets himself free. He may go all the way if he can break loose. And Cordio just couldn't quite keep his footing. Got tripped up a couple times. He's up over the 50-yard line for another first down for the Blue Devils.
Great second. Great third effort on Cordio's part.
Absolutely. He just kept driving and, again, kept trying to set his feet. He was trying to grasp and stumble forward. He got far enough to get the first down, and he's like, well, I'm not going to recover this, and he went down to the turf. He did everything he could to try to gain his balance. It didn't happen, but he got the first down.
One more step would have been Katie by the door. He would have been breaking that one outside.
Todd, how do you like that one, Katie by the door? We're trying to figure out who Katie is.
I hope she's by the door. I mean, apparently.
So 1st and 10, Blue Devils just over the 50-yard line. Bizzardo and Cordio in the backfield. Stevie Shaw split right side. It's the Bizzardo straight dive up the middle. Bizzardo with a patented 2-yard, 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 7.
The way this is going right now, if Leominster can put a couple of points up on the board right now, it's going to be a battle of which team is the most physically fit. I mean, this is a trench war right now.
And give Dean Boise a little bit of credit. You can tell he's the backup quarterback usually. He's in there popping and blocking, but I mean, he's throwing shoulders, getting into a shoving match. It's like, whoa, 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 you're the one healthy quarterback we got. Go over to the sideline and get the play.
And
Stop pushing and shoving.
He's a sophomore.
Yes, he is.
And we do have a timeout. Leominster's called the timeout. 2nd and about 7. Coaches want to talk over something. We have 6:15 to go in the first half. FHS Raiders with a 6-0 lead. I know the scoreboard doesn't show that, but could be trouble.
This is the drive, guys. If I can make any kind of a statement, this is going to be the drive to do it in. we'll
Trying to get that out of your face there.
It's going to be the drive to do it in, Jack. I mean, I have no doubt about it. The Devils have got to push this one, at least make good progress downfield. They got to take it across the 50, drive it downfield. Again, a sustained drive could drive the momentum.
With no mistakes. They can't make a mistake.
I think it's important now that the Blue Devils put this drive together, but they need to score the points. If they come up short again, it's a really demoralizing thing to go into halftime with 2 drives, you have an interception, then you drive down the ball down the field and come up with nothing. So I have real confidence right now. The Blue Devils are on the move. They're going to push this ball in.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. We're on the roof. We got umbrellas. Mary Poppins should be landing any minute. The only thing we need now is a chimney sweep.
Well, we don't have any of those, so.
We can order one.
Yeah, well, if we had a chimney, we'd be all set.
We got to watch out of the.
We have a parabolic salad bowl.
Yes, we do.
That's pretty cool.
The Penning Fan Club may, send us a chimney sweep.
The Penning Fan Club, we'll talk about them after this play. Great donation they gave us today. So the Blue Devils take over. Well, they'll take over. It's 2nd and 7 from the FHS 46-yard. There's a pitch to Cordio trying to go to the left side. He can turn the corner. Cordio could take a good gain on this one. He does, and he runs over Dushan Perkins on the outside, but he gets plenty enough for a first down. Blue Devils are on the move.
Just by about a yard, they ruled him out of bounds, but he got the first down. Great job by Cordio. Tried the second effort. When he lowered the boom, he stepped out of bounds in the process. Jack, I actually want to go and ask you a history question.
I had that word on the tip of my tongue, but go ahead.
What was the game, Jack, that the Devils, I believe it was 1934, they lost when they didn't get fresh uniforms at the half? Mud looks like it could play a factor.
I believe it was
Cordio becoming
1936, I believe, and it was right here at Crocker Field.
Blue Devils 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg Red Raider 38-yard line. It's the Pizzato trying to break out the left side, a little dancing right and left, trying to get by, and he's just taken down for a gain of about 2 yards. These backs for Leominster don't give up. I mean, every time that they're running, they look like they're getting hit, stopped, and they always wind up with about 2 yards, and that was the gain.
What I was going to say in regards to history was I've seen a lot of films. I've seen a lot of runners from the past, and I'm looking at the backfield that Leominster has right now, and between Pizzato and Cordio. These are 2 of the best running backs that I've seen in this entire series. I mean, we've seen some fast kids before. These guys got power, they get speed, and they do a lot of it on their own. And we had an inexperienced line that's, had, a few more games under their belt, but still they're doing it with an inexperienced line.
2nd and 8 from the FHS Raider 35-yard line. It's the Cordio drinking off the left side, trying to turn the corner. He's stacked up. Gain of about 5 yards on the play. It's going to be close. It's going to be 3rd and about 2 yards for a first down. Ball's going to be placed down just about the 30-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see what the Devils elect to do here. Do they go with a little bit of a short pass, maybe a dump over the middle, or do you give it to Pizzato out of the fullback spot and let him pound it up the middle? It's about 2.5 yards here. It's going to take a good drive. The key will be if they go with the run play, get the push from the offensive line,
Todd,
win the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Right now, you got to hope that they go with the run.
I think that's the key play there is to go with your bread and butter. I mean, Anthony Pizzato, a tough runner, but you never know what can happen. Fitchburg's probably going to look at Pizzato. Let's see what happens. Boise just on the center. Straight down to Pizzato up the middle. Look at that Penning thing. Look at number 50. Just pushed the guy back about 7 yards, and Pizzato just walked forward for the first down.
Now that was what you call driving. That was real driving by the Leominster front line right there.
I have an injured player down on the field. Just laying flat down there. We won't speculate who that is. But on the last play, Jonathan Penning really put a surge on it and took Pizzato right on his backside and carried him forward, and enough for first down.
Well, let's give the credit to that offensive line, guys. You got Gudernidis on the outside on tackle, Seth Tardif, John Penning the center, Greg Charpentier, and Andy Schofield. They've played great on the line all year long, and again, on that play, I said you had to get the penetration. They got the penetration.
It was Anthony Pizzato was laying on the ground. Hopefully you get maybe the wind knocked out of him a little bit. Take him off, check him out, and put a nail in his helmet, send him back in, I'm sure.
Last week we saw Anthony take a tremendous shot. He went down. It looked to us from up above like he was out, gone. Bounced right back up, and he was in on the next play.
Yeah, you're not going to keep that kid down, especially today.
Oh.
Tough nut. Replacing Pizzato in the backfield is our friend, of course, number 24 for the Blue Devils, which is Michael Gentili, who had a great game last week, scored his first touchdown. Here's the Cordio breaking out the left side. He's met at the line of scrimmage, but again, Cordio just shreds that tackle and heads himself forward for a gain of about 2 yards.
I like this kid, Gentili. He made a great lead block there, right? What a powerful kid, and again, he's only a sophomore.
And he comes into the game, Jack, and what's the first thing he does? Finds his assignment and pops him. That's a great job. I like seeing a kid who's gritty and wants to come in the game and wants to play. I mean, that was Pizzato when he was a sophomore. Came in and lowered the boom. I love it.
I heard some of the kids talking about this guy. He's just chomping at the bit the whole time. Let me in that game. Let me in that game, coach. He just loves the game of football.
You know, they call him the Minute Man because any minute he can be put in the game at any position. The coaches have a lot of confidence in him. He can come in and do that. Gentili's going to leave the game now, and Pizzato has come back in as we do have a Leominster call the timeout. 2nd and about 8. Ball sitting on the Raider 24-yard line.
It's one of their 2 allotted 30-second timeouts here. This is a rule that the MIAA demoed when I was in high school and adopted my sophomore year. Again, the idea, you get 3 full timeouts and 2 30-second timeouts. The key to the 30-second timeouts is they're basically used for the quarterback or the defensive player to go out, get a play, make some thoughts, and again, work the clock issue as well. You don't have to burn a full timeout just to stop the clock.
So it's second and about 8. Blue Devils come out. Dean Boise still quarterbacking. They have a full house backfield. Gentili, Bizzato, and Cordio. So this is a different look than we've seen.
Is that the wing T coming out there for the Devils? And again, Coach Cosenza looked down at his chart and went, I don't got that. Yeah. Called the timeout. He wants to get together with his team and figure out what they just saw.
Eddie and I, every once in a while, will have a fantasy while we're watching this game. We said with the backfield that Leominster has, wouldn't it be kind of neat to see the wishbone for a couple of plays, just to bring them out? In a game like this, bring out the wishbone. You know, get them going around the end. A couple lead blockers, pitch it at the last minute, bing bang boom.
Well, you put a Bizzato and then perhaps your buddy Gentili, and then you put a Cordio in the backfield and allow him to run out of that wishbone. And again, with a double lead block, it could be an impressive line. But again, the Devils have always used the I formation so long as I've been here. And the I formation is what they've used. It's what they're used to. They try to bring in a few things. And again, I think here, sending out a wing T type of look, you're trying to get people thinking. Are they going to overthink this perhaps defensively? That's what they're hoping for.
Well, I know that confused the Fitchburg Red Raiders at that time because we haven't seen that set as far as I remember this year in any game. So a new set came out, and Ray Cosenza immediately called timeout and wanted to change his defense. I mean, you've got some serious blockers coming out there with Gentili and Cordio, Bizzato coming out front with the Cordio on the back.
And it was kind of neat. That's the first time since I've been watching Ray Cosenza that I've actually seen his feathers ruffle.
Yes.
It got him thinking. It got the feathers on the back of his neck standing up. But he did what he did. It's supposed to do. He called timeout.
Well, he'll adjust the defense because the Blue Devils come out with the same formation. They have some big power backs in there now. Boise's up under center. Boy, you can give it to anybody back here, and we're going to gain something. It's good. Second and about 8. It's the Cordio being led by Gentili and Bizzato. Cordio steps to the outside. He's down around the 10-yard line, still going forward, knocked out of bounds around the 5-yard line. A great play call by the Blue Devil coaching staff.
I like this formation. I like it. You got those 2 powerful blockers up front. They got it. They might as well use it.
Yeah, what really a fantastic job. What a great play call. You pull Bizzato, you pull Gentili, you push him back on the outside, and then it's Cordio one-on-one with the defenders. Jukes one, jukes another, gets inside the 10-yard line. What a great job. Great play call.
So the ball's being placed down on the 6-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for the Blue Devils. 3:41 to go in the first half with Fitchburg with a 6-0 lead, but the Blue Devils knocking hard on the door. Here's the same formation. Boise with a wing T. Bizzato, Gentili, and Cordio. The ball is again to Cordio. Cuts back to the left side, and he's stacked up. Number 58 for the Raiders, that's Austin Douglas making the tackle. I don't know whether that was a design play to go to the right side. Everybody went to the right side. Cordio make a cut back left, but Fitchburg stayed home and did their job.
See, I didn't think it was a design play. I think Cordio kind of saw some daylight to the far side and hoped to just blow by him with the acceleration. He just never got the wheels turning, though. He didn't get his footing right away. Well, by the time he did, the 2 Red Raiders that were kind of starting to pull toward the middle of the field slid back, dropped them, and that's the end of the story, the end of the play. Again, got to go with your lead blocking. You had the 2 guys push forward and try to drive through.
So loss of about 3 yards on the play. It's going to make it second and goal from the 9.5-yard line for the Blue Devils. Boise, I backfield. Stevie Shaw split left side. To give to Cordio over tackle, following his big guys through the middle. Gordon Reedy's trying to lead the way in there. Cordio just slides himself forward. He's down across the 5, just about the 5-yard line. It's going to make a third and goal from the 5.
This wouldn't be a bad time for a pass play. I mean, I know it's a little scary and it's not the Devils' bread and butter, but you showed this new formation. Throw a play action in there. See what they do at the very least, and then drive it home on 4th down. You're in 4-down territory. You're not kicking a field goal. You're going for it if you get to 4th down. So, hey, see what you can do. See what they're looking at.
I think you got to go with your power backs here. Got to keep the ball in hand. Again, it's to Bizzato trying to go up the middle. He's whacked. He's going to be close, and he's in for a touchdown. Anthony Bizzato with a 5-yard plunge ties the score up 6-6 here at FHS Field.
Leominster, the whole city of Leominster, the whole school system needs a victory today. I think it would infuse the entire town with a great sense of pride, something that's been missing for a number of years. Granted, it's been 6 years, but if you look at the last 13 years, a win has only happened one time. And you can see the attitude. People are almost hesitant, including myself. it would be a wonderful, wonderful thing for the entire town to see Leominster High School beat Fitchburg on this Thanksgiving Day game.
Who asked me what I thought? Absolutely. Give it to Pizzato and drive it straight through. I mean, hey, you'd like to see him, with a little trickery, but hey, what can you do? Devils having to burn a 30-second timeout here because of a late substitution, and that's been charged by the officials.
So they're going to set up for a single-point conversion. Doing the kicking for the Blue Devils is Jonathan Hernandez, left-footed kicker. Holding is Ryan Laprade. See, the Blue Devils can take a 1-point lead.
Play for the lead here. Although, your kicking game's in question, play for the lead.
It's Hernandez. The ball's up. And it's
good.
So the Blue Devils drive the ball down the field on an impressive offensive series. Take the ball in, and Anthony Bizzato on a 5-yard plunge. Hernandez with the conversion, and the Blue Devils come out with a lead with 2:08 to go in the first half, 7-6.
Got a little nervous there. Saw the laces turned in and not away, but nice job. Put the kick on, put it up, and good. Hey, close is good enough.
I think I'm losing an eye here. On that.
I'm going to take this umbrella down. I think
it's stopped.
It's stopped. Don't tell the weather, but so far so good.
Trying to keep our equipment dry here.
What I might do is grab a plastic bag for the camera here.
Well, I think you go right ahead and do that.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So the Blue Devils have made an impressive drive. 2:08 to go in the first half. They do lead 7-6, so that really puts the steam back in the Blue Devil offense and defense. They're going to kick now to Fitchburg, put a good defensive stand on here, and come out flying in the second half.
Well, now you wonder, what does Fitchburg do if they are to go down and score again? Do you go for 2? Or do you put 1 up now? You can't get into a game where you're giving up the 1 point. If the Devils are going to keep kicking extra points, you can't give up a point on every play to keep trying for 2.
I think it's imperative that the Fitchburg Red Raiders take the ball down, and they would have to go for the 2 points. I don't know who they have to kick on their team. I believe it was maybe Perkins that did the kicking. Well, here we go. Cordio kicks the ball. Nice kick down the middle of the field. It's going to be caught around the 10-yard line. It is by Perkins. Perkins coming up over the right side. There's nobody on the outside but one man to beat. Perkins has turned the corner. He's over the 30, across the 40. Oh, the return about the 42-yard line. A big return for Duchesne Perkins of the Red Raiders.
I'm not happy with what I just saw on that return team. The return was the wedge. They tried to bowl through the wedge. The blocking set up. And it almost seemed like a couple of Devils that had a shot to bounce to the outside stopped hustling. He ran right by them. And you'll see on this replay, and I'm not sure, it may have been 30, Moran didn't really get either. He didn't give his full acceleration, but he slowed down on the play. You got to at least try to take a pop at him and stop him.
Well, I think the key there is that you got to stay in your lanes.
Absolutely.
The people, when you run down on these keys, you've got to stay those lanes, because if the play, you buckle on the inside, you get blocked to the inside, that opens up the whole outside. So the Red Raiders take over 1st and 10 on their own 41-yard line. 1:59 unofficially to go. Leominster with a 7-6 lead. Brian Raschuti quarterbacking for the Red Raiders. It's a man in motion. We have an eye backfield. It's to the right side, just off tackle. That's Justin McDonald. Gain of about 4 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 6.
Referee stepping in there at the end of the play. Guys had a little bit of extracurricular. They don't want to see this game digress. It's an emotional game. They hit hard, but you don't want to see the game digress into a bunch of fighting, which we've seen in professional and collegiate sports lately. You don't want to see that happen. You'll see the referees start flagging left and right if they have to keep this game under control.
Don't go into the stands, that's for sure.
That's right.
So 2nd and 6 for Raschuti. It's a man in motion. They shift him out. We get splits right and left of an eye backfield. To the second man to Perkins. Perkins out of the cross. A tackle. Nobody on the outside. Across the 45-yard line to the 44-yard line of the Blue Devils. Is going to be 1st and 10. Blue Devils defense, everybody got blocked inside. Linebacker ran by the play, and it was a big gain for Perkins.
I may be able to explain why Moran didn't hustle there on that play, and I think I'm starting to see why. He seems to be nursing a leg injury. You can notice he's not walking straight. He's kind of got a hard step over on his right leg. Something doesn't seem to be right. That could explain why he wasn't able to accelerate and catch up to that man on the kick return.
Very well could be. So 1st and 10, ball's on the Blue Devil 44-yard line. It's an option pass to the left side. Man was wide open, didn't look for the ball. He was trying to hit number 6, I believe that is. Is that number 6 or number? Yes, number 6 for the Red Raiders. It's David Gray. The man was open, but he wasn't prepared to catch the ball at that time.
Good idea, but the receiver didn't know about it. I mean, it's a nice idea for the quarterback, found the open man, but unfortunately the open man didn't know he was it. The play call was going to me, and I had no idea. So again, you know, you got to get on the same page. Again, that's a mental error. They've got to get it clicking when you're going to go with a pass play.
So no gain on the play. It's 2nd and 10, balls down on the Blue Devil 45-yard line. 51 seconds to go here in the first half. Unofficially 51 seconds. We've been off before. Red Raiders are trying to push something down and try to get a score and tie this game up. Raschuti up on the center. Give an eye backfield. It splits right and left. It's the draw play to Perkins to the right side. Trying to go over. A nice job by the Blue Devil defense. Waited on that ball and played it well and took the ball, carry it down for a gain of about 1 yard. It's going to be 3rd and 9.
You know, it's interesting. I'm watching through the binoculars, so I'm keying on specific players. Sean Edge is a little slow getting up right now, but what happened with him is his feet slipped right out from under him, but his upper body was so quick that he was able to initiate the tackle while his legs were going one way and his body was going the other. Phenomenally quick.
Fitchburg High has called a timeout.
Going a little clock management here. Call the 30-second timeout. The MIA is giving you 2 of them. Use the 30-second timeout. Get your quarterback over there so you can at least give him the play. He'll have the play. You don't have to worry about sending a receiver in. And again, it stops the clock. You don't have to burn a full timeout if you have to bring the whole team over to diagram something out.
Brian Raschuti talking with Coach Kazenza on the play with 42 seconds to go. It is going to be 3rd and about 7. Strong 7. 3rd and 8 we'll call it. Ball sitting on the Blue Devil 42-yard line. 42 seconds to go in the half. Be a great defensive stand for the Blue Devils to stick this one out. Red Raiders come out. We have twins right. We have an eye backfield. Shooty checks the defense. He's up under center. So the first man to the left side. Breaking out left side. He bounces off 2 tackles. He's still running forward. Enough for a first down. Down across the 30-yard line to the 28-yard line of the Blue Devils. Cordio is kind of rolling around. He came up and tried to stick this kid, and Cordio went backwards and got up kind of gingerly, but he is up off the ground. But it is a first down, and we do have a timeout. I believe Fitchburg High has called another timeout. Let's save that clock.
And it's a full timeout here. They're going to bring the whole team over. You know, while it was a little bit of a broken defensive play for the Devils, I will say impressively there. Nice job by Gurdanides when he got into the play. Finally wrapped the guy up, put him on the turf. Great job on his part to make a good wrap hit.
I think it's important now that, you know, the Blue Devils have to really stick their heels in the ground here, because with 33 unofficial time on the clock for the first half, it'd be nice to stop the Red Raiders, let them get into the end zone or get some points here, and it'd be kind of a downgrade from their big, long drive that they had. Another
thing I want to stress is that the Red Raiders have, we're not going to count the fact that that receiver wasn't looking for the ball as a mistake, but right now they've still played mistake-free football. They're executing, except for that one play that it was just a little lapse of concentration. It didn't cost them anything. They're executing perfectly. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. The downfield blocking is there. As a matter of fact, again, I was keen with the binoculars on that play where Cordio was a little slow getting up. That was the product of a beautiful downfield block by a lineman who just was, 20 yards downfield and put the stick to Cordio.
I think you hit the key, though, Jack. You could make a mistake, but again, mistake-free football involves not losing anything.
Yeah.
And again, I would say that is a mistake for your receiver not to know it's his call or his ball, but again, they didn't lose anything, and that's the difference in mistake-free football. Mistake football, you can get away with a mistake as long as you don't lose anything.
Good point, Todd. So the Blue Raiders take over 1st and 10 on the Blue Devils' 28-yard line. 33 seconds to go. To the right side of 33 for the Raiders, trying to go over the right side tackle, and he just stacked up. Tough call with 33 seconds to go to trying to run it off tackle on the Blue Devils. Going to be probably a loss of a yard on the play.
I'm going to make a prediction that they're setting up the misdirection play with that play right
Eldridge Wright was the carrier on that play, and no gain on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
It's 31, Billy Brooks. Noticed the play really wasn't ending. He wasn't sure if there had been a whistle, so he flew in over the top of the pack and with his just momentum flying through the air, drove him down to the ground, and that got the whistles going pretty quick.
Raiders called another timeout. Coach Kazenza wanted to take Raschuti to the side and set up a play with around 25 seconds to go. Ball's on the Blue Devil 28-yard line.
And I'm looking at the misdirection right here. I got a feeling.
Let's see what happens here. The Raiders come out with an eye backfield, splits right and left. Raschuti puts his tight end to the other side, to the right side. Steps back. It's going to be a pass. Raschuti's rolling right. He's being chased by Gunnaridis.
Oh!
Whacked by Edge. The ball falls aimlessly to the ground. Sean Edge just came up and ran completely through Raschuti.
I thought I made the call because it looked to me like that was the play. It was a play action with the misdirection. He rolled right, and he took a stick, boy.
There's a whap. What a job by Edge over to the far side. He put a lick on him. I'd love to see if we get a replay on that one because, wow, what a job. Again, the quarterback was set. He had plenty of room to look downfield. He had even picked out a receiver, was going to throw the ball, and got driven straight to the turf. Great job by Sean Edge.
I'm going to have to add that we are picking up Fitchburg Access's signal. It looks like on a hit from Leominster like that, they're not going to give us the replay.
We're not going to get the replay.
Well,
on
I'll
that.
tell you, it was a hit, and it deserved to have a replay.
Raschuti was looking out of the ear hole when he got up out of that one.
Yes, he was.
So it's 3rd and 10 for the Raiders. Raschuti up under center with an eye backfield. Splits right and left. Second man, Eldridge, to the left side trying to break out. And guess who? Sean Edge again, and Cordio, Bizzotto and Edge just wrapping them up short. Gain of about 1 yard on the play. That's going to make it 4th and about, well, gain of 2 yards. It's going to be 4th and 8.
That was the shifty tailback, Deshaun Perkins, coming out of the tailback spot. And again, the mistake the Devils made on the drive that occurred in a touchdown or ended in a touchdown for the Raiders was they didn't put enough guys on a shifty back. This time, stack up 5 guys in front of him. He can make all the moves in the world. He's not going to deke out 5 guys. They put him on the ground.
Great job by the Blue Devil defense. It's now 4th and about 7. The clock shows 1 second, so this will probably be the last play. I think the officials have reset the clock because it said no time, but they did put 1 second back on the board. So this will be the last play of the first half. Dangerous time. You know where the ball is going to be. I would call this a pass into the end zone. What do you think?
Most certainly. You've got to go with a deep chuck here. You set up the Hail Mary, and Syracuse was actually able to execute a big play like this to turn the momentum. I believe it was against Rutgers. Again, they set up the wall, and everybody goes up for the jump ball in the end zone. The pass was deflected, and one receiver who was just standing in the back of the end zone just happened to catch it with 2 feet inbounds. The same type of play here. The Devils are going to watch guys stepping back off the pack. You know there's going to be the initial jump ball, but you want to watch the deflection because you don't want anybody getting behind that pack and just making that kind of a catch. Just an accidental, oops, look, I'm here kind of catch. You got to cover everybody on the field.
And again, I wish we could have seen a replay of that hit. I mean, I know that, Fitchburg Access we're seeing a little more red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to give it with my eyes. That's what the hit looked like. It was a great hit.
So the Red Raiders come out with probably the last play of the half, trailing 7-6. Ball's on the Blue Devil 26-yard line.
And life is good so far.
And it's 4th and about 8. So Raschuti is set. You have a split backfield. You single back. He fakes the back. He's going to throw this ball up, looking for number 20 in the end zone. The ball is up. It's over. That was close. Number 2, Jonathan Hernandez, playing the defensive half. He had number 20 for the Red Raiders, Justin McDonald, and Hernandez knew exactly what he was doing. From here, it looked like he wouldn't make the play, but he knew exactly what he was doing. Jumped up, knocked the ball on the ground, incomplete. That's the end of the first half.
What a great play there by Hernandez. Again, instead of going for the interception, which you don't need, being smart, knowing the situation, going up and whacking the ball down. What a great job. He gets a play of the first half. That's very important. You get a touchdown there. That's a big momentum swing going into the locker room. You knock it down, you leave and go to the locker room with a 7-6 lead. Great job by Hernandez.
Just to recap the first half, which was a good first half.
Yes, it was.
We had 1 interception by the Red Raiders. But Dean Boise threw an interception. The Red Raiders took that down for a score, and they failed on the single-point attempt of conversion. Leominster then comes back in the second quarter, and on a 5-yard plunge after a great offensive drive down the field by Bizzotto, they put it in for 6 points, and the kick was good by Hernandez, and that's where we stand at halftime. Leominster will lead 7-6.
It has been a great game, and again, a fast game. I've been really surprised.
Really fast.
A lot of sustained drives, and I think that's what's drawing the time off the clock. You're not getting a lot of whistles until the very end here when they're calling timeouts to try to milk the clock a little bit. Doing a nice job to, again, have long, sustained drives on both sides of the football. This is going to be an exciting second half. It's a 1-point game. It will not end this way. If it ends 7-6, I will be very surprised. This is going to be a great second half of football.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to, the team that can be conditioned long enough to withstand this pounding, because they're going back and forth, and there's a lot of hitting going on.
Team that makes the last mistake is going to lose this football.
Right, exactly. The crowd, Jack, let's talk a little bit about the crowd.
Let's talk a little bit about the crowd. I'm surprised right now. It was a late arriving crowd, but it's decently sized. And again, I'm saying if Leominster can win this one, or when Leominster wins this one, and it infuses the town with that spirit that we've had for, let's think about it, guys, 110 years this has been going on. Let's break down this whole football thing in terms of the entire United States of America. And again, you got to look at what's going on here with the high school, the flagships of both communities, our kids, reaching the peak before, as let's still call them children, because after this they go on. They move away to college. They move to other parts of the country in the military with jobs. But this is a chance for the communities to unite over the the prime people of of Leominster and Fitchburg. And I think that if they can win and bring that fire back in their hearts, that next time we come to Crocker Field, there's going to be twice as many people here. There's a good crowd. I mean, I've definitely seen more. I'm going to guess there's probably 5,000 or 6,000. We've seen as many as 14,000 at these games.
It's a great crowd, and again, they were late arriving. I'm very impressed with them showing up here in the later part of the games. And again, with the weather being a little iffy, and I kind of thought when we were getting that little bit of rain, I'm like, oh no, here they go. They're all going to turn around. They just got here and they're going to walk out. No, nice job by the crowd. They stuck it out during the little bit of rain that we had. A great point, though, Jack, on the amount of time this series has gone on. This is Turkey Bowl 99. Next year will be 100 at Doyle Field. It's the 121st meeting between the two teams, but they played each other twice for a while in the early going of the series. Can you imagine what next year is going to be like?
You're talking Turkey Day 99,
yes,
but it's 110 years. Started in 1894.
Right, this is the 121st meeting.
Right.
The 99th on Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving Day, because they didn't play on Thanksgiving
Correct.
earlier. Right.
Before. They played twice a year at different pods.
Let's look at the whole country. Where else has something like this happened? Not too many places.
No, not at all. I mean, very fortunate. I know there are a couple. I believe there's one series in Pennsylvania that's perhaps been a little bit older, but I mean, none with the rich tradition that you see here, and actually the hatred. I mean, two towns that look so much like one another, and that's the amazing part is nobody really understands. Well, if you live in Leominster, Fitchburg's that ugly brother next door.
And then if you're in Fitchburg, you say, yeah, Leominster's that ugly brother next door.
Or you say those are those rich snobs on the other side of town. But I mean, they're two cities that are so much alike, so factory made and driven and grown up, so much alike, and so close together. I mean, great to have a football game and a place where you can really see the tradition and the rivalry beat out on the football
field. And again,
field.
this is the first time that I've ever had a chance to watch a game at Crocker Field from the Fitchburg side. And again, we're probably at the highest point above the field. And like I said before, we're a good, 50 feet above the field. And yesterday we were talking during sports talk about, again, the gift that Leominster has of Doyle Field, the gift that Fitchburg has of Crocker Field. And we kind of compared, Doyle Field set up to like a newer church. It's a few years newer, but when you step into Crocker Field and you look out in the distance, I mean, you're looking at the clubhouse that was, designed, paid for by Alva Crocker. The paper mills built this place, and you see these old stone churches with the copper roofs that are, weathered green. I mean, it's like you're inside the Notre Dame Cathedral. It's like St. Peter's. It's phenomenal. I can't stop talking.
Life is good.
Life is good.
I just want to let you know.
Life is good.
Am I missing something?
You missed it. It's long gone now. Oh, life is good.
I mean, if you look around Crocker Field, it's very historic type of thing. They talk of renovations to it. I was listening to the coaches. They're saying they're going to put maybe some artificial turf in here next year, same as Leominster's looking at their field because of what happens to the fields. If you look out here today, it's not in bad shape considering the rain that we had last night. About 2 o'clock this morning, 3 o'clock this morning, it was raining so hard I thought for sure we'd have diving gear on to get over
But if you look at Crocker Field over the history of this rivalry, the field is in actually excellent shape. I mean, this is probably, in the top 10 that I've seen it in my, my short duration is coming to these games for 40 years. It's the best that I've seen Crocker Field look.
It is in very good shape.
It's in great shape right now.
And, I wonder if, and we talked about it, I mentioned earlier during the game in the 1936 game where you had the mud play an effect in the outcome.
Yes.
And the field always plays an effect in the outcome. When you change to that field turf, which I know both schools are looking for, it changes a little bit of the history of it. The weather always historically played a factor. Field turf really is the best grass. You don't have to cut it. It gets wet, but you don't really slip and slide, and you don't have mud that forms. I mean, does that take a little away, though, when you change the weather as a factor?
But let's look at this. In 1894, when this thing started, I mean, they were still sweeping the horse manure off the streets. I mean, since then we've been to the moon. We've landed robotic things on Mars that are beaming back phenomenal pictures, from the red planet. I mean, think of the things that have gone on. Computer technology. There's people probably overseas in the military that are going to be able to pick up the broadcast of this, on the internet. Things like that have to, be taken into consideration. Granted, people are going to miss the fact that when they get tackled in their faces in the grass, the smell, the feel of the mud. But the fact that there's so many kids now and everyone has to use the field, not only the football team. I imagine, again, in Leominster, they talk about the ideal situation would be as if they got a new high school and they incorporated an athletic complex, into the design of the high school
like Fitchburg
and kept Doyle Field the way it used to be. Strictly the ball, strictly for varsity football and special events, which would maintain the integrity of the turf. Crocker Field, I'm not sure what the new setup is at the new Fitchburg High School, but Crocker Field is similar to Doyle Field in that it does get a lot of use.
My dad and I were talking about that earlier. I don't know if they still use the diamond here. I believe it has been limited to just football.
It is.
Because I know that at the new school they have a new softball complex because they have that red clay. And I believe they have the same thing over on a baseball diamond that is there. And I think they've moved their games there. So again, Crocker has been limited to a football complex.
So that could explain for the the condition of the field today. I mean, it's just for a few spots where the mud has started to come up from that trench water that's going on. It's in great shape. Footing here is phenomenal today compared to how I've seen it in the past.
One sport that I think they also moved, I believe there is a strip up there that they play on, is soccer. Soccer kills these fields.
Yeah.
The slide tackles, you're taking them up in, big hunks, and you end up with, just mud out there, which you see in the middle of the field. I know they do still play field hockey here. That's the one other sport I know they play their night games here. But, I mean, you're right. I think a limited use, taking it back to what it was meant to be. However, see, I disagree with some things going back historically. I love night games. I think Friday night football is where it needs to be.
Well, now he hit a nerve.
I appreciate that, and I knew I would, but I mean, I like Friday night football. It's what I grew up on, and I'm not talking about the movie. I like playing on Friday nights at 7 o'clock.
A lot of people talk about a compromise maybe earlier in the year where, it doesn't get dark at 5 o'clock and it's not 25 degrees below zero in a blinding snowstorm to keep the games on Friday night and mix it up a little bit with a couple of Saturday afternoon games later in the fall where, I mean, we were there this Saturday and just, again, to feel at Doyle Field, to feel that sun, granted you're going to get some lousy days, but to be able to see that place, again, like we're looking at Crocker Field right now in the daylight, you can see the skyline of Fitchburg, the old buildings, the whole character just emanates into this one central location, and it does something special to you. And the same thing happens when, again, I'm at Doyle Field in the daytime. So I wouldn't mind if they would mix it up a little just to, to see how it goes.
Historically, though, over the 6 years, what's been interesting, and you were talking about being able to see the Fitchburg skyline, this weather we have today, although a little bit warmer than usual, and the rain, this is the weather you get usually when you're playing in Leominster. This is the weather you get on that every other year. You get the gray day, the rain, and the warm. Where usually you come to Fitchburg, and I know my senior year when we were here waving over on that lift on the far side, it was freezing, and it snowed the day before. The sun was out, but it didn't make a difference because it was about 3 degrees outside. This is very different to have a flip-flop.
Let's touch a little on that. The interesting thing was how cold it was that day. And we got a gift yesterday from the Jonathan Penning fan club. And Todd, you missed it this year. They've sent us something almost every game. They've sent us food, coffee, boxes of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts. They gave us a huge gift basket with all kinds of cookies, with Dunkin' Donut gift certificates,
chocolate
footballs.
Which I ate the whole bag, by the way.
Did you eat the whole bag?
I did.
I ate that, the chocolate chip cookies. I ate about 6 of those yesterday. But the kicker
chocolate
was,
chip cookies in there?
They're gone now. They had hats, beautiful blue and white wool hats. They had hand warmers. They had anything we needed to keep warm. If we did get a day like that, we would have been well prepared. Thanks to the Jonathan Penning fan club.
Great group of people. Great. It was nice that we started this out in the beginning of the year, and we got a little letter from the fan club, and they asked us to read this little thing, and because the kids would get $5 for every time we mentioned it, and it just escalated into something that's really turned out to be a great thing. But you got to remember, the kid that we're promoting here, Jonathan himself, National Honor Society kid,
yes.
An athlete. A kid with the smarts, got a long way to go, and he's a big human being. I mean, if we take his size that we're talking about, he's 6'2", 290 pounds. I'm sorry, that's not.
Yeah, John Penning.
Yeah,
6'2",
Junior,
290.
6'2", 290.
Right,
and a smart kid.
So in a situation like mine, if I'm to say anything like derogatory about that kid,
he'll kill you.
He'll kill me.
He will snap you in half.
But a great group, and it's nice to see that is still there because the young kids look up to these high school players.
Yeah.
You look up to Anthony Pizzatos and the Cordios, and when you go to the Pop Warnings, I did the Super Bowl this past weekend by myself. all alone, 4 games.
It's a good thing, too. I had a problem that night. My daughter got sick that night.
And, you know, I watched these kids from, I did the Pee-wee division, junior Pee-wee, the Pee-wee, the midgets, the junior midgets divisions. And these kids all came up, and they were talking about they want to see when it was going to be on film. And there were some great hits. There were some great kids. And our feeder system, which comes up for our Pop Warner kids, they all know these high school kids. You can look around here, and you'll see those kids from Pop Warner with their shirts on, and they're hanging around the football players, and they look up to these kids. And to get role models like Pizzato and Cordio and Penning, and get some acknowledgement that these kids are fans of theirs, it really kind of boosts the whole atmosphere.
I found it interesting, you know, what you just said about, you know, the rivalry and what have you. And we were watching over here on the near side, and some Devil fans were just migrating over here at halftime, and you just saw the interaction between the two towns. You need the UN in here to really make this work. Security call over to the nearest side, but everybody made it out cleanly, no punches thrown. But it is amazing to see the two towns interact.
I hate to interrupt you guys here, but it is Thanksgiving, and you know, you talked about he had to do a game alone. He was insinuating that I wasn't there. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to my daughter Christine, my son Anthony, my daughter Rachel, who gave me, okay, let's look at this. This is her Plankton watch, Plankton from SpongeBob. This is a very special watch that she wanted me to wear today to wish the Blue Devils good luck. I also want to say happy Thanksgiving to my sister, her new husband, and my mother and father. They're in their 80s. My father's probably here somewhere. 86 years old. He's probably been to about 100 of these games, and he's 86 years old. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Well, that's good,
I mean, we've been here. We do a lot of work, and we takes a lot of time away from our family. I don't mind being selfish.
Well, he started a thing. So now, how about you and then I'll do? Come on. Now
well, happy Thanksgiving to my lovely wife Deborah, who's now home cooking, and my 2 boys, and my son Ross Catella, who has been with us all year long. Today we didn't need his services because we didn't have a camera that we were going to use, but he's been to the snow bowls with us. He was in the heat. He's done it all. We'd like to thank him, and of course my mom and dad. They're away. They can't see us, but if they see the tape, that'll make them happy. And everybody in Leominster and everybody who's watching the broadcast, happy Thanksgiving. Todd.
My mom and dad will watch the game at 2 o'clock, and I know they're in attendance today for the first time in a long time. Happy Thanksgiving to my mom and dad, and of course my sister Ashley, who's a sophomore at Leominster High. She's exactly 4 years behind me, so that's kind of cool to see her there and going through the same thing. Like her to get a winner. I didn't get one. Happy Thanksgiving to all my grandparents, and of course everyone else in the city of Leominster who has, been great supporters of LATV and, has watched us through my 4 years, and you guys in the last 2. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's been involved. It's really been great to be here.
Let me just say one more thing before I go, because I went out last night doing some inspections, and the firefighters, Deputy Chief Robbie Sidlow went out with me, and I told the guys that they're back at the station. They're not going to see this until later on, so they can't call me again on the phone. But I'd like to say thanks to all those guys for the work they do in Leominster. They do a great job, and they have to work Thanksgiving, but hopefully it'll be a slow one, and they can enjoy the turkey. So you guys back at the station, fire station, happy Thanksgiving. Jack.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I was dozing. Todd, I was going to ask you, when you were in high school, you never got to taste victory.
Nope.
When's the last time that you can remember Leominster actually being victorious, and where were you, in your development as a person?
I'm trying to think. I think it was 97. I want to say I was in either the 7th or 8th grade, and it was here, I want to say, because I believe I was here at that game, and that was the last time I saw one. I didn't see a winner since. Yeah, it'd be nice to see one.
Good point, because it's been what? 1 out of 13
It's been 6
anyway.
years, 1 out of the last 13. Yeah. And, I'd love to see a winner here today, at least for everyone still there. I mean, the people that are there every day. And I think a win for the team in general will be a big boost. You'll get the crowds coming back to Doyle next year.
And an interesting thing, when I was in high school, when I was a sophomore, we lost. When I was a junior, we lost. When we were seniors, we won. I believe we won 15-0. We had Paul McCumber, Steve Davis, Steve Ringer was a sophomore, George Wallace, Frank Clementi, Jimmy Pemerini. I mean, Mark Bonanza, who's here today, was a great team. And we actually went to the Super Bowl. It was the first time Leominster went to the Super Bowl. But what I wanted to say was, having been in high school and been a fan since I was 7 years old, that's 41 years if you think about it. It's a long time. To be in high school and not win, it hurts. I mean, it's just something I can't explain, and I know that you try to explain to these kids who have never had the taste of what it's like to win on Thanksgiving game, and the only way to get that into their psyche is to actually go through it, to win on Thanksgiving. Because when we won when we were seniors, I mean, it carries through until now. And that was the year that we started the longest winning streak, I believe, that Leominster ever had. I think they won 11 in a row, maybe 12 in a row from 1974 on. But, I mean, what a great thing. If Leominster can win, I'm telling you it's going to do a lot just to bring up the entire spirit of the whole community.
Jack, what has brought your heart, lightened your heart this year? Can you think of anything?
Lighten my heart?
Yeah. There's got to be one major thing that lightened your heart, and it happened just about a month ago.
My anniversary?
No, the Red Sox.
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox won their World Series finally after 86 years. It lifts your heart so it gets that weight off you.
Yeah.
This game today would lift the hearts of everybody in Leominster to get this thing back and get the weight off your shoulders.
We got a whole half to go here. We got a war to happen for another half.
We were doing mentions, Jack. And, you know, we would be remiss to mention. Remember, I live on the other side of a wall from him. Rich the Eyes Levy is down on the field with Tim Conway doing our NFL film-style archive footage. So we'd be remiss not to mention a happy Thanksgiving to both of them and a thank you for being here today. And also a thank you to Hill TV in Syracuse for allowing us use of their camera for the archive footage. I guarantee it'll be gorgeous.
Well, it better be. $42,000 a year's tuition. You guys better learn something out there.
Yeah, and who had to carry the stuff up the stairs?
We did.
Yeah.
Well, the Blue Devils.
Todd, you did your part.
I did my part. You better. I want that noted on the thing. I carried more today than I carried in 4 years.
Absolutely.
At High School.
You come a long way, baby.
Well, the Blue Devils have come back out on the field. They're limbering up to get started. The Fitchburg Red Raiders, I see it coming out of their locker room now. It was a lengthy first half. We had both bands out there. The Blue Devil band, you can hear them playing in the background now. The FHS band, quite sizably smaller.
What time do we have?
Right now we have a hair past SpongeBob.
SpongeBob doesn't work.
10 past 11 right now.
The game began at
10 o'clock.
Okay, so we have plenty of tape left.
That's good to know.
Let me just make sure it's running.
All right. We are using Fitchburg Access Television's feed today. We'd like to say thank you to our sponsors that have sponsored us all year. Maybe, Jack, you want to run through the sponsors a little bit?
I'm so hungry, so I'm going to start off with thanks to El Camino Restaurant.
Oh, El Camino. Blue clam sauce.
The blue clam sauce. Let's forget about that right now. We're just going to have linguine with clam sauce. Okay. I'm not even going to mention colors right now.
Does anybody enjoy the old marinara sauce? I mean, come on.
I like clam sauce. I have a routine when I go there. That's what I get. I get linguine with clam sauce. Anyway, I want to thank them. Ernie Rooney, who has just gone out of his way. Every time we ask him for help, he takes care of us. And again, these sponsors do it out of the goodness of their heart. There's really nothing in it for them except for their Blue Devil lovers. Frank Accaboni, again, who just loves to be a part of this. Since he played back in the early 60s, he still wants to be a part of it. We also have Joe DeCarolis. Joe DeCarolis Insurance Agency. He coaches for Leominster. He just wants to be a part. He wants to help out. And Jennifer Flanagan, who was a cheerleader, the whole family played, blah, blah, blah. Go on and on. Go ahead, Tom.
The middle three sponsors you mentioned there, DeCarolis, Mass Palette, and Frank Iacoboni, and Ernie Rooney.
Right.
They're now, I believe, 3-year sponsors. Yes. I mean, they are a tradition of committing, their monies to public television and Leominster Access Television, and that's a great contribution.
And also, late in the year, we picked up another sponsor for, Tommy Carrigan has helped out with Imperial Auto Body for a sports talk show, but Alan Anderson, and I'm not sure what his business is, but Alan Anderson came in, and again, Alan Anderson was a Leominster policeman, and he played football back in the 60s. Matter of fact, I got his chin strap from, in the olden days when you were a little kid and you had the heroes, because these guys were your heroes. After the Thanksgiving game, you'd say, "Can I have your chin strap?" And I had a collection of them, and I actually had John Ulecki's, and I gave it back to him last year after how many years? 30 years anyway.
At least,
and he was
probably
crying.
35 for John, yeah.
And I do have Alan Anderson's, and I'd like to thank him for helping us out with sports talk. And Alan, I will give you your chin strap back if you want it.
Well, the Blue Devils have just met at midfield. The Blue Devils will be receiving in the second half, where they kicked off in the first half. They will be going from right to left on your TV screen.
And again, we're going to have to apologize if you see a lot more red than blue. You're going to just have to look in our eyes. Even though my eyes are brown, you can see the fire in my eyes.
Don't adjust your TV
when they
for
don't
the amount of
give
red.
a replay
You can't
when
get rid of
Leominster
it.
does something good. But we still got to thank our friends at FATV for giving us a great video feed. They do a phenomenal job. They are from Fitchburg, so they have to pacify the Fitchburg crowd. I mean, if they were showing blue, it wouldn't sit too well with their sponsors. So.
That's for sure. So the Blue Devils are set to receive the kick from the Fitchburg Raiders to start out the second half here at Crocker Field. Leominster with a 7-6 lead. Deep back for the Blue Devils is Adam Cordio, number 1, Anthony Bizzardo, number 40, and number 22 is Kenneth LaQueer. kicking off for the Raiders is number 7, which is Brian Raschuti, who has been quarterbacking the team all day. And we're just about ready to get underway. Here's Raschuti with the kick. It's a squib kick to the right side. It's going to be, ooh, that was close to being out of bounds. The Fitchburg Red Raider almost got that in the air. Would have been an onside kick recovery. But it did go out of bounds. There is a penalty flag. The Blue Devils have the option. They will take the ball there, I would assume.
Late. The flag came late, and it actually came from one of the officials downfield. The official nearest the play didn't bother throwing a flag. But again, that ball was well out of bounds before it got touched. Ray Kazenza getting into it with, I believe it is the back judge. And again, this a good call by the official downfield.
I think what Ray's questioning right now is the fact that the Fitchburg Red Raider touched the ball before it went out of bounds. There would be no possession, but there would be no penalty on the play. The ball would be down right there. I think that's what the condition is now. And he may be saying that he didn't control it, but there was no control. You can't touch it. You have to have control before it goes out of bounds. They did call an illegal procedure, which is the call when the kick goes out of bounds before it's touched by an offensive player.
Have you ever seen Ray get mad?
Yes.
I saw him get mad last year's Super Bowl. I wouldn't want to be in his way if he were mad at me.
I coached with Ray Kazenza at St. Bernard's back in the 80s, early 80s, when he first came out of college. We coached the freshman team together over there, so I got to know Ray pretty well, and a pretty knowledgeable guy about the game of football, I'll tell you that much. So the Blue Devils did take the ball. It's going to be placed down on their own 40-yard line, 1st and 10. First set of downs for the Blue Devils just underway here in the second half.
That's why I'm not sure why you even bother arguing there. You know the Devils are going to decline. Even if they take the mark, it's going to be the same thing. Ball at the 40-yard line.
Right. Boise, great straight dive to Bizzotto. Just rolls forward for about a yard. A set-up play that the Blue Devils do a lot. They give it to Bizzotto and keep an eye on him.
Life
and let him move.
is good.
Life is good. Yes, it is. Gain of 2 yards on the play, 2nd and 8, balls on the Blue Devil 42-yard line. Just underway here in the second half at Crocker Field.
Oh, boy.
See our good friend Billy Clemens down there. Billy Clemens and Larry Bizzotto with a duo from Fitchburg High back in the 74, I believe they graduated. 2 good football players there. So Boise's up on the center high backfield. Stevie Shaw split way right. It's a quick pitch to Cordio. He drops the ball. Fitchburg High recovers the fumble. Cordio looked up a little bit soon to see what was open on the outside. Didn't quite catch the ball. The ball fell to the ground and recovered by number 6 for the Red Raiders. That's David Garay. So the Raiders take over 1st and 10. We have some good still photos that we'll be showing you. We're going to incorporate at the end of this tape so that when you watch it tonight, or as you're watching now, stay tuned. So the Raiders take over 1st and 10 on the Blue Devils 40-yard line.
Take the eye off the ball, Ed. You got to keep the eye on the ball. You got to know where it is. No play goes anywhere without the football. They took their eye off of it. Bingo, there goes the ball. It's on the turf. Fitchburg's got momentum, and they can drive.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. Raschuti up under center. We have an eye backfield, splits right and left. His second man, Perkins to the right side. Off tackle. Ran right by Stevie Shaw. One man.
No.
Cordio made a shot and couldn't get it. We got a penalty flag coming in.
Oh!
Perkins takes the ball all the way
throw
down.
another penalty right there. That was a real late hit. They put on number 5 for Leominster.
Jack, you didn't see the play, though,
Stevie
that
Shaw
insinuated the late hit by Shaw. The guy came after Shaw to attack him the first time. Shaw grabbed him by the face mask and slung him military style.
That's a personal foul. Face mask against Leominster.
He picked him up, Ed, by the face mask and just flung the kid.
Let's see if we can catch it on the replay.
Unbelievable.
This Perkins coming out to the right side. Cuts it back, and Shaw has already gone by.
That's the face mask on the play. But there was a big face mask well off camera, and again, it was during the progress of the play. And I don't know if they caught the late hit, but again, that was kind of a little back and forth. Those really should have been offsetting. That's why I don't think they flagged later on the after the whistle stuff. But that was a good call there. That's a 5-yard incidental contact, though. There was no tackle made.
0 for 3.
So the ball's being placed down on the 7-yard line, 1st and goal for the Raiders. They have a full house backfield. It's the second man, Perkins, to the right side. Nice tackle done by number 67 of the Blue Devils. It's Peter Gunarides. Great job by Big Peter Gunarides. He's a senior, 6'2", 225. Looks a lot bigger than that from up here, but great job.
If Leominster is going to win this game, they cannot allow Fitchburg to score right now. They have to stop Fitchburg right now. They can't allow them to get into the end zone. This will completely neutralize any momentum that they had.
Well, what you have seen, Jack, is a little bit of the fire, though, and you notice Gunarides there after the play, having a little bit to say. I think this is going to get into a little bit of a, it's going to get ugly before it's over.
Raiders splits right and left. The second man, Perkins, again, trying to go right side, cuts back to the left side, trying to go to the middle. Wrapped up by number 1, Adam Cordio. And number 61 of the Blue Devils is Seth Tardif.
Now, granted, the referees have been letting him play all day, and you haven't had those cheap ticky-tack flags. But there, you see Gunarides gets blocked out of the play from behind. That's a block in the back, and in the college ranks, and in any other game, probably in high school football, you'll see that flag. But for some reason, every year on Thanksgiving, the rule book goes away. They only flag major penalties, face masks, etc. You don't see that ticky-tack, holding.
I'm glad, because in the past, when they did get flag happy, they could ruin the game.
Block in the back, I believe it has to be outside the line of scrimmage within the yard either side. I think inside the trenches, anything goes.
That's true.
These are wild men inside. It's a pass to the, great pass. A great play fake by Raschuti, and threw a pass in the flats. Kept the Blue Devils completely off guard, but the ball was down on the 6-yard line looking for a run play. Got wide open in the end zone, and 6 points.
That's how the play works. That's the play action draw, and then you just chuck it over to the middle to the wide open guy out of the tight end spot. I think it may have been Tebow over the middle.
Okay,
great pass, great catch.
Let's look at what's happened in this game so far. Let's look at the mistakes that Leominster has made.
A replay, and again, it was just the drag, and again, it was Tebow. A nice job over the middle, and that's how the play has to be executed, Jack.
But Todd, you had said earlier that mistakes that cost you nothing. So far, Leominster's 2 big mistakes have cost them 2 touchdowns.
Here's the 2-point conversion. We talked about whether we go for 1 or 2, and the Fitchburg Raiders have tried to take it 2. Perkins is going to the outside. He's going to walk in the end zone.
Leominster right now is they're in rough shape. They're going to have to score and convert at least 1 extra point to tie the game. And they have not had a great kicking game all year. So I would assume that they would probably go for 2. And
the kick, though, in the first half, Jack, worked. And I'd like to believe that maybe the kicking game may come around here on a big day. You're down by 7. That's a touchdown in the extra point. I think you have to kick the extra point. You can't go for the win. You can't go for a lead. You need to kick the extra point and play for a tie. In this type of a game, it's too back and forth. It's too close. You got to get points when you can get them. Now, I think you're absolutely right. I think Leominster is in trouble.
They're in trouble.
This is a bad way to start. You're losing a lot of momentum, and that's not a good thing. You fumbled. You gave up the touchdown. It was fairly easy. They drove the ball downfield pretty fast. That's a bad sign early in the third quarter.
I think it's important to note that Fitchburg has scored both of their touchdowns on 2 turnovers. 1 on an interception, now 1 on a fumble.
And in the odd-numbered quarters.
Ooh, there you go. I got to put that one down.
Cosmic.
You tell he's a college kid. He'll
burn $42,000 a year.
He'll burn those cells out by next year. He'll be dead. So the Red Raiders, after a fumble recovery, take the ball down about 45 yards to take a lead of 14-7. Just underway in the third quarter. It's 9:24 to go. Raiders kicking to the Blue Devils. A short kick to the up man. That's Jonathan Hernandez, who can run. This kid can go. He's on the outside. He's across the 50, across the 45, around the 44-yard line. This kid has got some explosive and some speed that just you don't see until he turns his legs on, and off he goes.
And you see the crowd getting back into it for Leominster. So it's a nice job. You're one of the up men. You make a nice move. You move the ball upfield. You start to churn the fire a little bit, and the crowd getting into it. I like seeing the crowd get into a game.
Todd, I'm going to equate this to boxing. If you're a boxer and you're hurt, you're supposed to just throw haymakers from every angle. A hurt fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Yes.
You can't be tentative after you've been hurt. They've been hit with a haymaker. Now they're going to have to just start swinging from all angles. They have to be dangerous right now. They can't run around with their tail between their legs. They're just going to have to hit hard and hit harder.
Plenty of times for the Blue Devils to score here. The eye backfield, Stevie Shaw split left, going to Cordio, trying to go off tackle, and he's met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Fitchburg players. A gain of 1 yard on the play. It's going to make it 2nd and 9. Ball's being placed down on the Fitchburg Red Raider 44-yard line.
Bounce right back up, get in the huddle, run another play. I mean, again, it's that type of a game where you've got to just keep going. May I also make a uniform commentary? I meant to make this in the first half. I like the addition of the L going back to the helmets. I think it belongs there. It's the school logo. I think Fitchburg should actually have the F on their helmet. It just makes that battle feel more than just the blue and the white, or the red and the white.
I like the L, too.
I like the L. It just sharpens it up a little
When they used to put the little devils on their helmet when they made like a tackle or something, and some guys would have like 50 little devils on their helmet.
2nd and 8, balls on the 44-yard line of the Raiders. It's a second man. That's a fake. Boise rolling right. He's got a man wide open. Who's Hernandez in the flats. Across the 30, down to the 25, across the 20. across the 10, the 5, and a touchdown.
No
Blue
flags,
Devils on a
no
great
flags.
play.
What a great play call. That was the play they tried to run in the first quarter that was intercepted because Bossy didn't take his time, set himself and throw. This time, runs the play action that's learning from your mistakes, finds the wide open man in Hernandez. Adios, amigo. He is gone down the sideline. John Hernandez, great play.
John Hernandez made a great catch. Opened in the flats, which is a bread and butter play. Usually put Pizarro out there. Hit Hernandez. Boise did a nice job rolling out right this time. As you said, Todd, took his time, looked through the ball properly. Hernandez takes it, just turned on the Jets, is in for 6 points. We're going to get a close tied-up game here, which is going now. Hernandez, after that long run, hope he's got some strength left to kick this ball. It's down by Ropad. It's no good. Hernandez fails to convert. So the Fitchburg Red Raiders dodge a bullet. They still with a lead of 14-13.
Yikes. I mean, we know the kicking game's been in question all year long. He didn't look like he got a good foot on it. It may or may not have been deflected. I'd really have to see a replay. I just know he put a kick into it and didn't make it. I mean,
I'm hoping for a replay on that fantastic touchdown pass, but it doesn't look like we're
you may be hoping a long time.
Yeah, we're going to be hoping.
It was a good play by the quarterback, Boise. And again, they ran that the first time, and it was intercepted. Fitchburg took it all the way down for a touchdown, but not this time. Laid it out there. Hernandez knew what to do with it. As soon as he got that ball, it was in the end zone for 6. So the Blue Devils are still down by 1 point.
I could use our camera that's been taking pictures of us, and I could actually follow the game. So if we needed a replay of Leominster, we could run our own.
Yeah, but then you'd never be able to see our cute faces.
That's right.
I think they'd rather look at replays.
Ah, you never know. So deep back for the Raiders, number 1 is Dushan Perkins, and number 33 is Edgelid. Can't even say the.
Todd.
Yes.
Does it still look like I'm wearing a powdered wig?
Yes.
No, the powdered wig look is gone. It looks much better than this morning.
Here's a kick by Cordio right down the middle. It's going to roll all the way into the end zone. Perkins sees. Once it hits the end zone, it is dead in high school.
Yes,
Once it gets in there, so it's going to be brought out to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 Raiders, with 8:15 to go here in the third quarter. Raiders with a 1-point lead, 14-13.
Okay, guys, what are we looking for now? Let's be a little predictious. Let's get the crystal ball out. What's going to happen now?
I think the Blue Devils need to step up and stop this run.
I agree.
The Raiders have not thrown the ball except for the short pass for that touchdown before, but I think they're going to look for Perkins coming out of the backfield, which they've been doing all day long, and I think they need to stop that.
You need a momentum swinger, and that would be it. A nice stop here on the run, a momentum swing. That's what you're looking for.
Raschuti checks the center, looks at the defense of an eye backfield. It's to the first man up the middle. It breaks loose. Run to the outside. Cordio. Hernandez actually made a shoestring tackle. Anthony Bizzotto.
We're going to get a replay of this, so let's analyze it. You know we're going to get a replay.
Analyze the replay or the fact we're getting one?
No, we'll get one of this.
Edgelid Wright was the running on that play. He broke up off the left tackle.
There it is, see?
Made a great, right through here. He gets through a line. A great block there. Bizzotto went flying in.
There's
Cordio came up and just missed it, but.
Great lick on the far side. John Hernandez stuck him with his shoulder right in the rib cage. Nice job. That kid's all over the field.
And you know, when I do the games and there's another team and they make a great play against Leominster, we show replays of the other team.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line for the Raiders. Raschuti checks the defense, and second man to Perkins to the right side. A lot of yardage out here for this kid Perkins. He can run. And he's up over across the 40-yard line down to about the 44-yard line. Perkins went down hard on his head, getting up a little bit dazed. Kind of checking out where he is, but I guess he's going to be okay. This kid has really come on strong for the Raiders. He's a junior.
We're looking at Leominster's line. I mean, they've spent a lot of time in those trenches today. I'm not sure how many guys Fitchburg has going both ways, but again, you know that Fitchburg is in great condition here. Leominster's got a lot of guys going both ways. I mean, it's a wearing factor.
I think well, we'll talk about this in a minute. 1st and 10 Raiders on their own 42-yard line to the left side. Breaking outside, he's going outside. Hernandez on the run, and Bizzotto finishing him off, but not until he's got a first down up over the Blue Devil, down around the 42-yard line.
Where's the outside help? That has gone away as the game has gone along. There's been less and less outside help. I don't know if they're trying to pinch him down and trying to force more guys into the box, stop the fullback coming out of the spot, but Fitchburg's line's doing a great job getting the block out. Once he breaks free, now that you've brought the outside help inside, there's nobody out there.
Another replay. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to talk to these guys in the truck and tell them they better start showing some blue.
No, they'll cut our feed. Let it go.
They cut their feed. We got our own camera. We can take over.
So 1st and 10, ball's on the Blue Devil 40-yard line. Raschuti checks the defense, splits right and left. Have an eye backfield. It's the Perkins coming off tackle on the right side. Bread and butter play. Stevie Shaw got taken out of the play, which is his position. Adam Cordio coming all the way up his free safety to try to make the hit.
Look at the blocking. Look at the blocking. There's a fight. There's another mistake. That's bad.
72 for the Blue Devils. Took a shot. It's Timothy Frazier.
Looked like Joe Frazier on that.
Timothy Frazier took a shot. I think they both got tangled up. They're both injured. Frazier went down holding his leg. And
Ray Cosenza is going absolutely nuts over on the near side, Ed. He believes that his player got viciously attacked. He's going berserk.
Well, let's see what the officials come out. They're going to have some penalties because there is a flag on the field. It's unfortunate, you know, that the
Fitchburg fans are also joining them going nuts.
Emotions run high here at Doyle Field. There's no doubt about it. Coming into the ball game for the Blue Devils is number 11, Ross Cordio. It's a junior, 5'9", 155 pounds. Going out is Michael Gentilio. He's just going out to get some signals. I was saying before we had this little fiasco here. We'll try to catch what the officials are going to give.
And I've got some interesting observations that I'm going to keep.
Let's see if they get it on the replay, guys. If their cameras get back in time, I'd like to see what happened over on the far side, and they're going to cut back. So they didn't have an angle on that far side, but that was unbelievable. I didn't see the hit because we were talking up here, but all we saw was everybody go down in a pack. They've got to get these coaches off the field, though. That is not their spot. They are not dealing with the injury. The doctors are dealing with the injury. That coaching staff does not belong on the field. 5 coaches are out on the field. There is a limit to the amount of coaches that can be out there. They need to get control of this game and get the coaches over on the sideline, too. That's just as equal as the players going nuts. Get them off the field.
Shane Boucher was the injured player for the Fitchburg Red Raider, and Timothy Frazier went off limping, too. So 2 guys that were in the altercation wound up off the field. Coach Dubzinski is out in the center of the field now with Coach DeCarolis, and they're trying to get their side of the story. We'll see what the official gives. He's going to give us a signal right now, I believe. There is a penalty, and they're going to move it. They're going to move the ball.
It's a 15-yard first down, and I wonder if the question is whether they're going to eject the player or not, because there was a heck of a brawl that ensued. And Coach Cosenza still screaming about, wanting something. But again, they're taking a 15-yard first down.
Oh, he blew off enough hot air. What good's it going to do now?
Well, I mean, 5 coaches outside the box,
He's
Jack.
looking like, well, yeah, I know, 5 coaches off the box, and he's blowing enough hot air to fill up the Hindenburg, for crying out loud.
That's partly the officials' fault. They don't have to give this much of an explanation.
Granted, he's Italian and he's got a temper, but,
you got to keep him over on the sideline. There are certain rules. There's a decorum. They belong between the 30-yard lines.
Play the game on the field with
Ball's
the kids.
Down on the Blue Devil 29-yard line, 1st and 10 Red Raiders. After a whole mess of stuff going on. We have motion to the right. Raschudi's up on the center. Check the defensive and eye backfield as the Perkins trying to break back to the left side. He's whacked. Gain of about 2 yards. This kid Perkins gets in the hole. The Blue Devils are fired up. Jonathan Penning in there. Sean Edge. The bottom of it, Anthony Pizarro.
Todd, you're right. After seeing those 5 guys, and again, we looked at it last year, and call me a sore loser, but when we saw that guy last year go from end zone to end zone, taunting Leominster when Early made that run. You remember that?
They did it 2 years ago in 2002, too. It's a sportsmanship
When I see 5 guys out on the
Jack.
field like that, and I see hot air, blowing out like that, I mean, I can do it now because I'm an announcer, but I'm now coining them the Hindenburg Express, the dirigible.
I'm not touching that one.
Well, I'll touch it.
Checking the defense here, guys, and I don't see number 40, Anthony Pizarro, on the field.
Maybe they're just trying to cool him off.
If he got hurt on that last play. Well, let's check it out. A gain of 1 yard on the play. It's 2nd and 9 for the Raiders. Breaking off the left side over tackle. 3 missed tackles right at the line of scrimmage. Then he's stacked up by the defensive halfbacks of the Blue Devils.
Fitchburg is controlling this game in those trenches. Their line is doing a job on the Leominster line. They've worn them down. Granted, they're tired too, but Leominster right now looks like a bunch of wet dish rags out there. They're getting blown off the line of scrimmage. They're making arm tackles that aren't carrying through. They're making the secondary come up to finish the job off, which is actually tiring them out more. So the entire 11 out there on defense, they're putting out more energy than they would have had to. Todd, what do you think?
Jack, we talked about it. The defense had to set the tone, and right now they're being forced to grind it out. That's causing a lot of energy. They can't set a tone.
It's the Perkins coming off the right side. Bread and butter play. Breaks back to the middle, and it's enough for a first down. Ball's going to be placed down on the Blue Devil 11-yard line. 4:55 to go in the third quarter. Fitchburg on the move, 1st and goal from the 11. So 1st and 10 from the 11.
Let's get hypothetical here. Let's say Fitchburg scores here, and now Leominster's got their offense on the field, and you got guys like Cordio and Pizarro who've been going both ways, saving tackles coming from all angles of the field. What do they have left?
Well, it's going to be difficult, but you know, those two guys, those would be the two guys I wouldn't worry about. They're both very well conditioned. They've been doing it all year long. I'm not too worried about that. What I am worried about, though, is if Fitchburg drives down and scores on this drive, Leominster needs to come back on their very next drive and score. You cannot go down 2 touchdowns into the 4th quarter. It doesn't work that way. Not in this series. You can't go into the 4th quarter down 14 points.
Coach Young is still contesting that last play with one of the officials out there, but you know what? That's by the boards now. We got to dig in and put our heels in here and stop the Red Raiders.
What would he be contesting?
I think that the fact that he was the Leominster player was taken down first. It looked like he was complaining that he was hit from the back, on the back of his legs, and he got mad. And then he pushed the other player down, and then that was where the penalty came from.
They always catch the second guy. That's the one thing
my
you have
eyes
to know.
came
They
into
catch
the
the
play
second guy.
when Frazier unloaded with a vicious left-right combination.
And we, much like the officials, are following the ball.
Right.
If it occurs behind the play, they're not going to notice it, so they're going to catch the second guy who retaliates. It happens every time.
And that's what Chris Young was indicating. I think that when I saw him talking to the official, how he said his guy got hit from behind and was taken down, then he got retaliated, and that's what happened. So you get caught, as you say. The officials are watching the game as it goes ahead.
And they are watching the ball. So, again, what's going on behind the line of scrimmage where that was? You know, the Fitchburg guy's doing what he was supposed to do. It's that same thing I talked about when Muhammad Ali kept his weight on George Foreman, just kept his weight on him. And, I mean, they're using it. It's like Bruce Lee using the momentum of your opponent against the opponent.
So it's 1st and 10 Raiders. Ball's on the 15-yard line of the Blue Devils. Raschudi's checking the defense. It's to the second man, McDonald, and he's going to the outside. The left side, he's knocked out of bounds by a host of Blue Devil players, but not after a gain of about 5 yards.
And Fitchburg still has to make a mistake. No fumbles, no turnovers. Leominster has been hurt viciously by the 2 turnovers that they have allowed.
I agree. I can't agree with you more, Jack. You're absolutely right. And again, it's a momentum thing. More than anything else, letting them score. Of course, you're losing on the board, but you're losing momentum. They're believing they're creating these turnovers. It creates a drive.
They actually are.
Them. It's
2nd and 5 for the Raiders on the Blue Devil 10-yard line. Backfield, Raschudi's reading the defense. First man up front, up over the tackle. Pizarro grabbing a hold of him, but he still lets him go forward for. Going to be close to a 1st down, depending on the spot.
Pizarro laid a good lick there, but he was going down. He couldn't finish his man off. Needed a little help from the far side who came in and pushed that play dead.
The officials are going to take a time, I believe, to measure this. That's how close it was. This is a big, big measurement here. When the official came in for the signs, it looked like he had
My
it.
question is, what constitutes the difference between a Leominster team and a Fitchburg team on Thanksgiving, where Fitchburg can come out year after year after year and play virtually mistake-free football, and Leominster is continually, over the last 6 years, hurt by their mistakes?
Jack, I think it's the pressure. There's a lot of pressure put on a team that's lost 6 years in a row.
Was enough for 1st down. Blue Devil Raiders from the 5-yard line, 1st and goal.
And they are
Justin McDonald
controlling
on the carry.
the clock.
You're right, and Jack, again, I think the difference is in what occurs in this rivalry, because everybody who lost, especially, you know, if you lost and I lost, I'd love to see this team win, but you're kind of putting undue pressure on kids that haven't lost 6 years in a row. This same team hasn't lost 6 years in a row. The high school has lost 6 years in a row, but these players are being put on the line for the last 6 years, and all the teams that lost over the last 6 years, they're being forced the pressure of, you know, the last 100 years worth of pressure and losses. They cracked under pressure. It's tough, Jack. It really is tough. I wouldn't want to be out there. That's a tough job.
2nd and goal from the 4. It's a pitch to Perkins to the left side. He's looking to go off tackle. Cuts back inside. Good pursuit by the Blue Devils. On the bottom of that, number 32 for the Blue Devils, that's Anthony Calabro. So gain of about 1 yard, yard and a half. It's going to be 3rd and 2 for a touchdown. Let's see what the Red Raiders can do here. And the Blue Devils, last time they were on this yard, they threw that little flare pass after the play action. Let's see what Ray Cosenza is going to send the play in. Sends it with Raschuti.
He's already had this play lined up since last week.
Well, Mr. Cosenza does do his homework, that is for sure. You know, we've talked to him, and I coached with him. This guy does prepare well. So here come the Red Raiders, 3rd and 2 for Paydirt. Full house backfield. Usually a pitch to Perkins, and he goes to the right side. Stuck.
Ball.
Ball came out. Let's see. I believe Blue Devils have got the ball. Stevie Shaw may have the ball on the bottom.
Referees are signaling 4th down.
Oh, my goodness.
I wonder if we'll get a replay.
I doubt it.
It is 4th down.
They haven't given one replay on anything Leominster's done good
Well,
yet.
he said the ball was on the ground. The ball fell on the ground. It's going to be 4th and about 2. There was a loss on the play of 1 yard, and we do have a timeout. Maybe they'll come to the booth for a replay. We can check it out.
We're not going to get one.
And Fitchburg has called a timeout.
They're taking a full timeout here.
All right,
We're going to slow the fans down a little bit.
Let's go to us. Let's go to us because, I can't handle the pressure. I can't take this.
You know, Jack, I'm going to say
We're sitting here in hostile territory, and we're calling the Fitchburg coaching staff the Hindenburg Express. What chance do you think we got coming out of here alive?
Man.
Today?
You know, I'll say this, Jack, though. I'm going to say the same thing to Leominster fans that I've said time and time again. The same thing I said to Syracuse fans last week when the team lost to Temple, and they were calling for the coaches' heads and the players' heads. Stick with your team. You know, I understand this is a big game and everyone is into it, but I urge fans, do not start ripping and tearing these kids apart for a loss. They go out there, they battled. It's a fantastic football game. A loss is tough to swallow, but for the last 100 years, losses have been tough to swallow. Do not hold these people responsible.
Well, I don't think people are actually holding anyone responsible. I think, but there is a question out there in the community as to why Leominster, with a talented team like they've had the last 3 years in a row. I mean, we're looking at some phenomenal talent that they've had the last 3 years in a row where they should have come out here and handed it to Fitchburg.
Jack, those members of the community just need to go look in the mirror and see why the team loses. You don't show up all year long. You put undue pressure on them going into the week of Thanksgiving. Show up all year long. Support the team in a positive manner.
Good point.
That's a great
That's
way to help the
excellent
community
point.
out.
If they were here and they could listen to that crowd, they're going bananas.
And that's on the
around
near side.
We're
That's
going to have
all
to
wearing
switch
red.
back to the game here.
Well,
see
here
if
we
we can
go.
get a replay if Leominster holds them.
This is it. It's 4th and 2
This is the
for
ball
the goal.
game right now, boys.
Blue Devils have made stops in 2 previous plays. Fitchburg comes out with a high backfield with a slot to the right. It's the Perkins. Fake to
Pass.
Perkins and looking to go inside. He's got a man open and it's knocked down and completed and fumbled. That's going to be incomplete. Perkins had the rebound, had it in the end zone, and it's incomplete.
They better show this one.
Jump
that
ball,
was a
pin
circus
ball
play.
inside. Fitchburg wants a touchdown call. The ball is way down in the back of the end zone. I don't know what they thought they saw, but again, a great job. They batted it. Nobody established control.
I don't believe Perkins had the ball long enough in the end zone to make a call on that one. He got to control the ball, and he got popped. The ball just flew out.
Or as the NFL says, completes the necessary steps for a completed pass.
There it is. We got a replay.
There's a replay here. Raschudi's going to throw the ball into the back of the end zone. He had a man open, closed up well by the Leominster Blue Devil defense. Here's the tip ball. Here comes Perkins into your picture. He's got the ball, but no control at this point. He's still bobbling, and the ball flies out, incomplete.
No control there. He never really established control. Great job once again, John Hernandez, for the second time in this game, skying and making a block. John Hernandez, my new favorite person, really.
Great job. We've said that right along, all year long. He's done a great job. Now the Blue Devils are in the predicament where they've got to start out first and about 99 yards for pay dirt. So let's go 10 at a time with no mistakes down here, and the Blue Devils could work this game down.
That's a great point, Ed.
Again,
10 at a time.
It's almost like how many plane crash. You always worry about going on a plane and having it crash. You always feel a lot safer if you get on a plane after a plane already crashed. So my point being, to go around the way.
I want to see what the point of this one is.
I've never heard of
They've already made
reference.
2 big mistakes.
Okay.
What's the chance of them making another huge mistake this far
Well,
back?
let's see what happens here. The ball's down on the 1 yard line. Blue Devils with the ball straight dive to Vizzato, trying to get him some working room, and he's stuffed. Vizzato trying to go up the middle is his candid move, and he's going to gain probably maybe half a yard, if that.
Got to watch this. You're too close to your own end zone here. You know, you got to drive forward. And again, a nice run to the outside, something to get away from this end zone. You need another, I'd say, 4 to 5 yards. You got to get out beyond the 5-yard line to have some working room, be able to call your offense.
Not only that, Todd, but right now where they are, the field isn't in the best of condition. If they go off to the side, at least they can get the ball on some ground that hasn't been torn to shreds and get better footing.
I think you surprise them here and throwing out in the flats.
See what they do.
They're all up for the run. They're all up tight. There's one defensive safety. Let's see what Boise does with it. Going to be to Cordio off tackle to the right side. Cordio's moving himself forward. Gain him about 4 yards on the play. It should make a third and about 4.
There's the working room they need, guys. Now you're, 6 yards off your goal line. You got a little bit more room. The majority of your offense is in the field of play, not in the end zone. So the safety is a little bit less of a worry. You got to be conscious, though, of what's going on. And again, you got to get some more yardage, get a first down here to keep the drive
What
alive.
happened to the full house backfield?
They went away from it.
Yeah, they had 2 great plays with it. One bad one, 2 good ones.
Yeah. Well, this would be a good time to call one because it's third down and about 5, a strong 5. So they come out with the I backfield, split Stevie Shaw way out to the right side. Boise's up on the center, checks the defense. To give to Cordio to the right side, he's stuffed.
And they didn't know he was getting the ball.
Stuffed. Cordio just about to the 10-yard line. It's going to make it 4th and 3.
I'd love to tell you they're in 4-down territory, but they're most certainly not. They've got to punt the ball here, and Cordio is going to be punting from inside his own end zone. They've got to do a good job forming the blocks. They need a clean snap, and he's got to get a kick away here. He's got to boom this ball downfield. He's got to push him back to at least the 50-yard line.
This is going to put Fitchburg in a good field position with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. Here's Cordio with a kick. Kicks it to the right side. It's going to be fielded and returned on the 40-yard line, down to the 35.
What an excellent block.
And a flag.
Who's it going to be on?
I believe it's a holding call.
Flag is going to be either holding or a block in the back. I'm going to go with holding because, again, they obstructed the ability to make a play and not clean. The hands got outside the jersey and hooked on.
David Garay was the return man, and it is against Fitchburg. I believe it was holding.
They signaled illegal use of the hands.
Okay.
I mean, that's also the same signal for block in the back, but I don't believe it was a block in the back. The guy was looking one another in the eye. So I have a hard time believing it was that. Illegal use of the hands for either, hanging onto the jersey.
We'll get another call here. The original. It is illegal use of the hands. So they probably gave him a shove. And
we had an illegal use of hands in Shrewsbury where there was absolutely no one around anyone. It was like one person intercepted a pass with no one anywhere near him, and they called an illegal use of the hands. So it was snowing out. It was miserable. Those refs didn't want to be there, so we figured the real ref didn't show up. Yeah, they sent the soccer guy in,
Let's not go there. Well,
that was in Shrewsbury.
Raiders take over after the penalty on their own 49-yard line, 1st and 10. About 3 seconds on the clock for the third quarter. Raiders lead 14-13. It's the Perkins straight up the middle.
Okay,
Peter Gunarides tied up around his ankle like a package.
I'm looking into my crystal ball, and I believe Fitchburg is due to turn the ball over.
Okay.
They're overdue.
That's the third quarter.
That is the end of the third quarter. So the ball is going to be placed down just about the 50-yard line. Red Raiders will have the ball 2nd and about 9. Starting the fourth quarter. We've got 12 minutes to go, gentlemen.
12 minutes to go, 1 point.
Down by 1.
12 minutes to glory. It's where you want to be. You're 1 point down. You've kept the game close. You've done a good job on defense to make sure you weren't down multiple touchdowns. You're 1 point away. You're 12 minutes from your glory time.
This is where you got to dig down deep. You got to go into your reserves. Again, it's the 15th round right now.
Yes.
The fight is even. You got to come out swinging. You got to just take it to the bell.
I smell turkey.
Oh, yeah. Might be my breath.
Did you see that turkey soda they have out?
Turkey soda.
Turkey and gravy soda, yeah. It's really interesting.
Sounds really refreshing.
They have cranberry soda. They have turkey and gravy, mashed potato and butter soda.
Sounds great.
Try it. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Yum.
I can just imagine.
It's unbelievable.
Good. It's just like real turkey, but with no turkey involved.
You know what?
Right, you don't have to chew it.
I'd stick with a nice cold glass of water.
Yeah, steak. Did you say steak?
Did you say steak?
Well, here the Red Raiders come out. 1st and 10. I'm sorry, it's 1st and 10 on the 50-yard line. Number 33 for the Blue Devils trying to scurry forward. See the.
That was a nice word, Ed. Scurry.
Yeah,
yes.
he was scurrying, wasn't he?
And it brings up a third down. You've got now
that.
3rd and about 8. It's been done a nice job by the Devils to keep them around midfield, stack them up. They've gone with 2 dive plays over the middle, I think trying to maybe move the clock a little bit. I'm a little bit curious on that move. But again, the Devils are going to watch a 3rd down conversion attempt here. You stop them here, you're getting the ball back with decent field position.
And if we look at these Red Raiders, Todd, what's your feeling right now in terms of like them being a 4-down team from this position? What do you think?
I think they've had pretty good luck. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in 4-down territory for them.
Shooty takes the ball. The second man to
Sean Edge.
Taken right down by Sean Edge.
Razor sharp.
Perkins trying to go off the left side, and Sean Edge come blasting up out of defensive end. Took Perkins to the ground for a loss. It's going to make it 4th and about 14.
The Razor.
Raiders got to kick the
Razor's
ball.
been making plays like that all year long. He comes out of nowhere. Boy, is he quick, and he just puts those arms around them and he drags them to the ground.
Well, he sliced his way through the offensive line and then
that.
moved it to the ball carrier in Perkins.
And handled
hooked
it
up
well.
And took him down.
Handled it well.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
The Razor sliced his way through.
It's that
So the Red Raiders-
$44,000.
Red Raiders have to kick the ball away. Shooty kicking the ball. He kicks it off to the left side. He's going to kick it out of bounds just around the 20-yard line. So no return. I think the Red Raiders are afraid of the return men, which is Hernandez and Cordio. Great speed out there. So they've kicked everyone out of bounds. It's going to be placed down on about the 22-yard line. So the Blue Devils take over 1st and 10.
This is time
10:34
for
to go.
Leominster to initiate a sustained drive, to eat up some time on the clock, to move the ball 5, 4, 3 yards at a time, continually get first downs. Don't try to big play here. Go for the 10 yards at a time. You got plenty of time on the clock to get that sustained drive and stick it to them.
Ed hit it at the beginning of the last drive when they were backed up on their own end zone. The problem was that they didn't have a lot of room. You got to go 10 yards at a time now. You've got the field position, 10 at a time. Don't try to do too much.
You've got a lot better footing underneath.
Boise up on the set of Cordio and Pizzato in the backfield. They're trying to send Cordio out to the right side. He's chased down by the Red Raiders. I'm a little concerned with the same play over and over and over.
I'd love to see the full house backfield. You fake to one of the up front men, get a hole going, and just give it,
Even with the full house backfield, you put the 2 blockers out front and let Cordio run.
Yeah.
Cordio's running pretty much behind Pizzato on his own.
Right now, he's getting to the line of scrimmage where Fitchburg is definitely dominating. He has to do everything on his own. They got to mix it up a little better here, and hopefully not with a pass.
Gain of 1 yard on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Ball's down on the 23-yard line of the Blue Devils.
And again, they're coming into a position where the footing is bad.
Boise up under center, checks the defense. Shaw's split left. Pizzato and Cordio in the backfield. It's to Cordio. It's fake.
There you go.
They got Pizzato in the flats. He's wide open. Ball's connected to Pizzato out across the 40-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds. Great call.
Great call, and again, a nice job there by a young quarterback in Boise. Did a nice job, get set, he feels the pressure coming, roll out, find your man, and hit him with a strike. Nice job by a young kid.
He was in a good position also if he decided to tuck the ball under his arm and go for it his own. I think he would have still gotten the first down.
I agree.
Yeah, he had a lot of open space there. Great call. Good play action. Set the ball the other way and then send Pizzato out in the flats, which is a bread and butter play that they've used all year. So it's 1st and 10. Ball's on the Blue Devil 41-yard line. It's the Pizzato right up the gut, pushing himself forward. A gain of about 5 yards. We'll say 4 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 6. Ball sitting on the 45-yard line. Clock running, 9:29 to go in the game. Blue Devils trail by 1, 14-13.
In observing Pizzato, what he's been doing, they've been giving the ball to him up the middle, and he goes up against the wall of both blue and red uniforms, which tells me again that Fitchburg is dominating the line of scrimmage. If they could open up just a slight hole to get this kid through, I think he could handle the backfield all on his own.
Well,
he hasn't been able to break through that line yet.
So it's 2nd and 6. Cordio rolled forward a little bit, didn't get called on. Cordio breaking through the line, still driving himself forward. He's going to be close to a first down. I believe the mark is definitely a first down. Just across the 50-yard line to the 48-yard line. Blue Devils 1st and 10. Here we go with the 10 yards at a time, and that's all they need to do.
Exactly.
This is what we need. This is
Burn the
what
clock.
we need.
And they're playing with a sense of urgency, not in rushing the play, but they're playing what they understand, and you can just see they know they've got to keep driving, they got to keep kicking. This could be your last shot with the ball. A lot of time left, but it could be your last shot with the ball. They could, run out a nice long drive and, kill off the clock.
Clock is running, 8:44.
You've got to play with a sense of urgency, but you got to do it with some intelligence.
And you
Sorry,
also
Todd.
cannot
No
make
problem.
a mistake, Todd. No mistakes.
Hang
now.
on to that ball. Their shirts are greasy now. They're full of dirt. Pizzato never got set. They didn't call it. It's a quick pass out to Shaw on the left side. Dangerous pass to
Very
throw.
dangerous.
It's a dangerous pass, but I like it. Screen pass over to the far side. The blocking set up. There was one guy over on the far side. You got a good 7 yards out of it. Hey, I like the call. Keep him
It
guessing.
was a Tom
Yeah,
Brady
if I could
pass.
catch my breath, I'd like to call a little bit better. Right now, my breath is taken away from me with the nervousness.
So it's going to be 2nd and about 4. Ball's being placed down on the Fitchburg Red Raider 41-yard line. Blue Devils on the move. Blue Devils come out to the line. Shaw split right, eye backfield, Pizzato and Cordio. Straight dive to Pizzato.
Look at this kid drive.
Ball came out. The ball is free. Still free, I believe. Cordio finally came up with it.
Blue Devil football and a first
goal.
down. It's
First
not the way
10.
you drew it up, but we'll take it.
Wow.
Oh, my. That is, I mean, seconds to certain death. I mean.
I can't
Oh,
talk.
my.
I'm gone. I've lost it.
The ball came popping out inside. You know, the Red Raiders are going to tackle the ball. They want to get it back and try to kill off the clock. That bounced around between 3 or 4 different players from each team. And finally, Cordio drove down, jumped on the ball. The ball's being placed down first and 10 on the Red Raider, the 34-yard line.
Trying to find some positive on this. Dean Bossy has been fantastic as a quarterback, and he did a nice job there. The handoff was inside and hard. He got behind Bizzato, and he was pushing Bizzato downfield.
No. Now, we may have a delay of game here on the Red Raiders, the Blue Devils, and it is. That is uncalled for. You know, when you're on the move, you've got a great play, you just recovered a fumble, and you can't get the play in on time. That is uncalled for. There's no need to penalize yourself 5 yards on that. The coaches have got to get the plays in there much quicker than that.
It's untimely. You can't have that. You've got a momentum going. You've got to run. You just picked up a little bit of a luck, and now you go and penalize yourself 5 yards.
Okay, so let's look at mistakes.
2nd and 15.
That counts.
Yeah,
first and
that counts.
15.
Another one.
Ball's back down to the 38-yard line. Boise checks the defense. Eye backfield shot, split right. It's the Cordio backside. Cordio breaks it forward, runs over a couple of players. He's down around the 25-yard line. Great run by Adam Cordio. Enough for a first down. Be first and 10 from the Raiders' 26-yard line.
Nice. That was a nice play.
6:36 to go there in the game.
Scooter Moran over on the far side, leaving the huddle for a minute, trying to draw the crowd into it. He's trying to get the crowd to get behind him and help him push this downfield. Get the 12th man out there on the road in Crocker Field. I mean, there's plenty of Devils fans over there to do it.
Well, I think it's the situation like it was with the Red Sox right now. It's the Bill Buckner effect.
2nd and 3. Bizzato almost dropped the ball. Boise and Bizzato had a little bit of a miscalculation putting the ball in, but Bizzato railed it in with those tree stumps he has for arms and held on to it.
You know, you're almost afraid to let your heart get caught up in it because you keep getting your heart taken away, and it just hurts. It hurts less if you just, if you go with it and you don't let your emotions get carried up. And I think that's where, as a matter of fact, I know I am, and I'm a Leominster fan. I think that's where these Leominster fans are now. They're afraid to put their heart and soul into it because it hurts even more when it doesn't come to fruition, as the politicians say.
That was enough for a first down. Bizzato grabbed the ball, took it under his wing, and took it in there. Ball sitting on the 24-yard line. It's Cordio going out the left side, trying to turn the corner, being chased down, and no gain on the play. First time I think I've ever seen somebody chase down Cordio. He rolled him out to the left side, couldn't quite turn the corner. No gain on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Ball's down on the 24-yard line. Clock running with 5:28 to go. Blue Devils trail by 1, 14-13.
Nice part about this drive, Ed, is they're moving the ball downfield and they're sucking up a lot of time. If you're able to punch it in, you leave Fitchburg a very short amount of time, but by the same token, your defense needs to make a stand, because if Fitchburg's able to move the ball downfield, there's no time left on the clock.
So Boise with a single back, which is Bizzato. They're in the passing offense. It's usually what they do with this one. They look for Cordio. And here comes Cordio out around the outside, cuts back to the inside, trying to get himself forward. Took a lick just over the 20-yard line, down to about the 18-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and about 5.
Gutsy call.
It is a gutsy call. Comes down to, at this point, guys, who's got that little extra in the tank? Or if they're both spent, who can dig something up, anything, to push yourself over the end line here? You've run the marathon. You're at mile 25. You need to punch it across the finish line to win. And in this case, the Devils got to punch it into the end zone and hold them to win this game.
Trouble with that play, it takes a long time to develop.
Yes.
And on this type of field, it gives the defense a lot of time to react to it. Tough time. So we're going. Here we go. A 3rd and about 4. Bizzato, Cordio, eye backfield. It's the Cordio over the right side. Bizzato leading back. Cordio breaks it off, across the 10. He's going to be in for a touchdown.
Yes!
Adam Cordio on an 18-yard jaunt scores 6 points for the Blue Devils on a great run over the right side.
exactly the way it was diagrammed up. The blocking sets up. You get the gap on the near sideline. Cordio cuts into the gap, cuts back once.
And I'm going to go to a shot of us
the
because they're going to a shot of the dejected Fitchburg players, and I'm sick of it.
What a great job. Here's the replay. We want to catch the end of that. There's Cordio cutting back inside into the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Devils. Great job. Cordio gets his blocking, and then it's a solo effort to cut back and forth into the end zone.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, Blue Devils. I feel like jumping out there and getting this crowd involved. Eddie, when I saw that shot go to the dejected Fitchburg player instead of immediately to the replay of that fantastic run, I said, I can't take this anymore. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
So we missed half of the replay.
19-14.
We caught the end of it. We saw him go over the goal line.
19.
Come on, we're going to go to us again.
19-14. Here we are. 19-14 Blue Devils. Devils take a timeout, or I think Fitchburg may have taken a timeout as they try to get
Devils did.
Square here. And again, the question is 19-14. Do you go for 2 and end up forcing Fitchburg to score a touchdown plus the extra point?
You go for 2.
Well, I heard the coaching staff next to us yelling 2, 2, 2. So let's see what
I think you have to.
Down.
That is my belief. Is you've got to go for 2 here. You force them to get the touchdown and an extra point here. Because if you fail to convert, all they need is 6 points, a touchdown to win the game. It would be 2019 if they were to score. All they need is 6.
And you've got to realize that these Blue Devils right now got a good feeling going into that huddle. They drove the ball a good 80 yards right now, and they scored on a great play. The momentum right now is with them. If they can drive this 2 in there, get that defense out to stick it to Fitchburg, I think we could see some history.
Here comes your wing tee, Jack.
Blue Devils, this is the power backfield. Blue Devils are going for the 2-point conversion. Cordio's moving, we got a flag. My goodness gracious. Now that's going to bring them back. Set them back 5 yards.
Play was killed.
May change the complexion of the call now.
I love that formation. With these guys,
whoa.
They had it set up.
Oh, there was a whistle that killed the play when that flag came out, I sure thought. I thought I heard a whistle there, which would then mean the play got killed.
I thought I heard a whistle.
I really thought I heard a whistle.
Oh, here's a replay. Let's see what happened. No, they're not.
We won't see that. We'll hear the whistle. There's
the flag.
The flag came in. There was no doubt about that, but I heard a whistle. I didn't think you could decline the play. I thought the referees had killed it with a whistle.
Right. If the whistle blow, then the play was dead.
It shouldn't have. It should not have been a whistled play.
Right.
It wasn't a false start. It was a illegal shift by the back.
Right.
So it doesn't kill the play. But if he blew the whistle, you have to rerun the down.
I heard a whistle.
I heard a whistle. I know I did. So.
Well, we can hear it up here because we've got our microphones turned up real high for the crowd noise. But maybe the coaches down the bottom hadn't heard it. But maybe the coaches next to us will hear us talking.
Life is good.
Life is good. Yes, it is. So we're sitting here now at 4:10 to go here at Crocker Field. Leominster with a 19-14 lead, kicking off to the Red Raiders. Going to be interesting now. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go on the clock. Red Raiders trailing by 5.
It's all in your defense here. I talked about it earlier in the game. They had to set the tone. It's on them now. Again, 6 points. If Fitchburg scores a touchdown, is a 2019 lead. If they put an extra point on, it's trouble. Again, the key is a defensive stand. You stop them here, you can run the clock out. Devils need a defensive stand.
And here's Cordio with the kick down. Taking to the right side, about the 10-yard line.
Wide open.
Coming back to the left side. And he's taken down. Ball is out.
Loose football.
Still loose. Red Raiders look like they came up with it. Yes, they did. Officials are saying Red Raider ball.
No doubt about it. Get the guys out of there, though. The Devils cannot afford a 15-yard penalty on top of this. Get them out of there. You got a loose football. It's very frustrating. You couldn't get a hold of it. But again, you need a defensive stand. They've got to stack up and get a defensive stop.
I think it's important at this time now that the coaches do talk to these defensive kids and settle them down a little bit. Tell them to play their positions. Don't get over-aggressive because that's when you get beat. You don't want any long runs, any long passes, but play aggressive but not over-aggressive. Don't run by the plays. And very difficult to get a Fitchburg, Leominster High kid to slow down a little bit. Let's see what they can do. Fitchburg Raiders come out with an eye backfield, splits right and left. Perkins with the ball. He's got a new taped ankle. Perkins going to the right side. Pizzotto trying to get him. Pizzotto runs him down outside. Pizzotto was getting held by number 67. Broke loose of that and made the tackle on Perkins. I know Perkins was limping before. He does have a newly taped right ankle, so maybe that'll slow his feet down a little bit. With a gain of about 7 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 3. Ball sitting on the Fitchburg Red Raider 30-yard line. Clock running, 3:36 to go. Blue Devils with a 5-point lead. Here at Turkey Bowl.
Oh.
I'm going to go gray. I'm not even 20 yet.
Raschuti reading the defense. First man up the middle, driving forward, trying to shift back. Blue Devils covered it well.
They gotta watch their over rambunctiousness so they don't start throwing those fists and get a flag. If they get a flag right here, it's gonna defeat the whole purpose.
Not only that, it seemed like there was a broken play there because I thought there was a false start in the line. Because again, Fitchburg looked like their timing was all off, and again the Devils were just able to smush them back. I thought they needed or should have gotten a false start flag against the Raiders and would have pushed them back 5 yards. But for the Raiders, they wouldn't have had a broken play. That was a busted play because of mistiming in the line.
Well, it was a gain of about 1 yard on the play. It's 3rd and 3. Ball's on the Red Raider 32-yard line. Raschuti checks the defense. Shifting his tight end. We have an eye backfield, splits right and left. So the second man, it was Perkins up the middle. He bounced off one. Bizzotto's got him, wrapped him up. The Fitchburg Red Raider helmet flying
People
out
are
down
losing
the field.
helmets.
Let's see where the mark is, and I believe it's going to have enough for a first down. Bizzotto just a little bit late, but boy, what a lick he put on this kid. It is going to be a first down, Red Raiders. First down on their own 35-yard line. Clock 2:26. Leominster by 5.
What a game. I mean, you know, win or lose, and it is always tough.
No.
Don't even say that word. That word's gone from the vocabulary.
Not necessarily
Strike that word.
Win or lose on both sides.
1st and 10. Perkins, fake the Perkins coming in. Raschuti trying to throw the ball out.
Oh!
Almost picked off by Stevie Shaw. Had it in his grasp, couldn't quite hang on to it. Really making Raschuti force that pass was.
That would have been Katie O'Toole.
Katie
O'Toole.
I don't know what she's doing there, but
Anthony Calabro, number 32, put the pressure on Raschuti, made him release the ball before he had to, and it was almost picked off by Stevie Shaw. Great job by Anthony Calabro.
What I'm seeing and what I like by this Devils defense right now is they have dug down and they are now on their reserve tank and they've got some gas left and they're really putting it to them.
2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Raschuti dropped back. It's a draw. Draw to Perkins. Perkins trying to run down the middle, and he's pulled from every different direction. There were legs going one way, arms going the other way, and the shirt going the other way.
Todd, what were you going to say?
I had a long point there, and actually it was going to be quite, stoic and meaningful, but we'll just cut it down to this. What I was going to say was win or lose on either side of the football, both teams have played a fantastic game.
Absolutely.
And I want to emphasize that. I mean, granted, again, win or lose, both teams, and all that good stuff, but we know who we want to win.
Okay, there's no question about it.
So, I mean, I have to say the win or lose thing because that's my job, but again,
okay,
folks,
Todd, we forgive you. But the
you.
thing is, the beauty is we are Leominster Access Television, and there is no doubt who we want to win, and we don't have to give equal time to the other team, just like Fitchburg's doing with their colors on the
Big
on the,
third down here for the Red Raiders. Falls on their own 36-yard line. 3rd and about 8. Raschuti drops back, gives it to Perkins, trying to go right side, runs into his own offensive lineman. Cordio and Bizzotto, what a troop. They're never going to get away from those two guys. It's just taking them down. Stevie Shaw on the outside. A great big loss for Fitchburg, about 6 yards. That's going to make it 4th and about 16. Clock running with 1:52 to go. Leominster with a 5-point
The Leominster fans are on their feet. You can see them. They're clapping. They're in this game. This is the way it used to be. This is the way I can remember it. Look at the people. They're going berserk. It's crazy here.
Timeout, Red Raiders. It's a full timeout, guys. Oh, my. I can't emphasize how great this is. I mean, this is great. Oh, man.
4th and 16, well, 4th and 15, so this is going to be it for the Red Raiders. They do not convert for first down. Blue Devils take over and should be able to run the clock out.
Exactly. I mean, timeouts could play a factor. I believe this is actually one of the first timeouts taken in a half. But, I mean, I would have a hard time believing that this could be a problem. Again, I say if Fitchburg doesn't make a stand or doesn't make the drive here, get the 8 yards they need, they've lost the ball game. There's no way you can battle back.
Well, it'd be an interesting play for the Raiders. Most of their big yards been done by Perkins, off tackle runs. Raschuti can throw the ball. They did have one big reception, and it's important to remember that this is it. The Blue Devils have got to be prepared for anything, but don't overact, don't react, don't
Todd,
overreact.
if you haven't noticed, I love to see myself on TV. That's why.
No, I thought you were trying to go back to the
camera.
But
I'm so excited here. I'm missing it.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
And here we go, folks. This is for the Turkey Day Classic here at Crocker Field.
This is for all the dressing.
4th and 5. Raschuti up on the center. You have an eye backfield. It's 4th and 15. The blitz was on, a screen to the right side. Bizzotto trying to work him over, and he's going to hold him short. That shouldn't be about to do it. They tried the screenplay to the right side. A good call by Coach Ray Cosenza, but the Blue Devils saw it coming, played it well. Bizzotto went in and foiled the play. Blue Devils take over 1st and 10. Balls on the Fitchburg Red Raider 32-yard line.
It's not over yet, guys. You got to remember, you've got to run the clock out. That means no mistakes. Jack's been highlighting it all day long. You've got to get the good transition, get the snap from the center to the quarterback to the fullback or the halfback, and run the clock out. You cannot turn the ball over in this situation.
And Leominster has called the timeout.
Settle the troops down. This is a good time to do it. Settle them down. Again, they're real high. That's a big defensive stand. Got to settle them down.
Big play there. Good call, the coaching staff. Let them settle down. Bring the whole team over. Talk to them. Say, guys, hey, we got a minute and 43 seconds roughly to go. We just need to hold on to the football, and we'll take it home and sweet turkey time.
Can I ask permission from you guys that when this does happen, if I go completely berserk, because there's been 6 years of pent-up anxiety in my body, and I just want to friggin' yell as loud as I possibly can. And I just may jump over the edge here.
No.
I got my umbrella.
Just do me a favor and mute your mic so that I don't have to hear that in my ear.
I don't want to hear any blood-curdling scream here.
I know I'm going to go zipping down that spiral staircase on the post. Yeah. I'm riding it all the way down. It has been 6 years I've been waiting to broadcast a winner. And, I mean, it's been great to be here today. Hopefully they can close it out. Unbelievable. The crowd should go nuts. This is the time you rush the field. If you needed any time to rush the field.
Don't tell Jack, with 30 feet in the air.
Get the umbrella.
With 30 feet in the air.
It doesn't matter. 30 feet is nothing.
Well, here come the Blue Devils. 1st and 10. The ball's on the Fitchburg Red Raider 32-yard line. 1:43 to go. Unofficial on the clock. Boise's up on the center. We have an eye backfield. Bizzotto and Cordio. Cordio going off the left side. 2 hands on the football. Pushed himself forward. Gain of about 3 yards. Cordio running with both hands over the football. Smart move. Don't want to cough that ball up now. We have another timeout. Fitchburg High. Stop the clock. Roughly 1:38 to go. Second in.
I hope Rich has been on the
7.
sideline. Where is he with that camera? Can anybody get their bearing on where Rich is?
Rich and Tim Conway are standing right next to each other by the down marker. You see
Beautiful.
2nd down. They are right to the right-hand side.
Hopefully
of
we'll
it.
have some great archival footage.
Sure
and I can
you
imagine with that, we actually invested a lot of money in a telescopic microphone, so we're going to be able to hear what's going on in the trenches.
Oh, I can imagine.
Hopefully we won't have to mute anything.
I was going to say, Tim's holding that.
Now the question is, Jack, are you having salad today at your dinner?
Not anymore. Boise with the ball. Cordio again, 2 hands on the ball, going out the left side. Just moving itself forward, a gain of about 3 yards. It looks like it's going to make it 3rd and about 4.
Still a lot of time on the
Another
clock.
timeout.
Good clock management here. The Raiders have done a good job.
I really want to be
taking
out
the
on the
timeout.
field with my camera. I don't know if I should go down here or if I should stay up here and yell. What do you guys suggest?
Jack, if you leave now, you'll
can
be
get there?
down there on time.
Should I do it?
Go ahead. We'll wait for
I'll
you
be
to
back.
come back to carry all this stuff. Ouch. Jack has just bailed. He just dropped his $400 headphones on the ground, so we're going to put those down gently.
That's WJPC
Jack,
radio,
use the
by
stairs.
way.
Use the stairs, not the umbrella. Jack's going to head down and get some great still photos after the game.
And of course, we have mentioned it earlier, Ed, and I want to get it in one more time. A thank you to Hill TV again for allowing us the use of the $10,000 camera Rich is trotting around down there.
Absolutely.
As him and I will be going to cover the BC game with it. But they said, if you happen to stop off on the way to your Thanksgiving Day game, feel free. I'd also like to thank my guys at WJPZ Radio for allowing us the use of an extra headset. It's allowed Jack, Ed, and I to all be here with you. And again, it's been a fantastic day, and I know Jack's going to go. You're going to find him at the 50-yard line with his shirt off, running around like a nut. I mean, again, I think Ed and I may be a little more reserved, but we can't explain how tickled we are right now. But again, a lot of time on the clock. I mean, tickled at the moment, but again, this could all be killed in a moment. They've done a great job managing the clock. Devils have got to convert. A first down here goes a long way to sealing it up.
It is 3rd and 3, 1:29 to go. Ball sitting on the Raiders' 25-yard line. Big 3rd down. Pick up a first down here would really kind of put the icing on the cake. They go to the big man. Bizzotto push himself forward. The line surges forward, and it's going to be enough for a first down. A great job by Bizzotto and that offensive line. That whole offensive line, Todd, just moved forward, and Bizzotto just swayed with it.
And there it is, the signal for the first down. Clock continues to run here.
But it will when they start.
It will start on the ready. Yeah, there we go. Unbelievable.
Hey, there goes Jack. He's on the field in the end zone. Jack, put your shirt on. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God.
The police are chasing him now.
He's got a big blue devil painted on him. How do you get that there?
Oh, boy, that's a tattoo, it looks like. Unbelievable. And the Devils take the knee. I don't believe the Fitchburg Raiders can stop the clock anymore.
I don't believe they have any timeouts. That is it. They're going to have to kneel down at least once more.
50 seconds roughly to go. Blue Devils will just take a knee. You know what? How sweet it is.
Coach Dubzinski, Coach DeCarroll is celebrating over on the far side.
Yes, sir.
Good for them after 6 years.
It's a big win for the Blue Devils here in Fitchburg. Coaches congratulating each other up here in the booth with us. You know, we can't say enough about it. My partner Jack jumped 30 feet to get down there. He's across the field. Boise takes the knee, and that's going to run the clock out with about 25 seconds to go.
Coach.
Blue Devils are celebrating. This is a great victory here for the seniors at LHS and the coaching staff. A long, long awaited victory here in Fitchburg this year.
Congratulations.
The Blue Devils, the fans are coming on the field. This is what Jack talked about.
Be. Absolutely. Rush the field. Get that camera. I've had enough of this. We're looking at handshaking. Can we get a shot at the celebration, please?
Let's try to unwrap this without ripping our cord here.
If you take a look, and we're going to get you some shots of the crowd here.
You might need this, though.
Oh, yeah, that'll be helpful. Again, a fantastic game, Ed. Final 19-14. And again, we can't say enough of what a fantastic day this has been for the Blue Devils. And as you can see, I have just totally torn the place apart. But again, we hope to get you some visual here, because I've had enough of seeing red.
Why don't you work that, Todd?
I'll try
to wrap up the game here a little bit. The Blue Devils took a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to take the lead of 19-14. And then they held on to hold off the Red Raiders on their final charge down the field with some great defensive plays. Adam Cordio, Anthony Bizzardo, they just did a great job to stop the FHS Raiders. They were a little shaky in the first half. Raiders put on some offense. Perkins really ran the ball well for the Fitchburg Red Raiders. Got to give him credit. He did come up with a sore ankle. He's taped and limping off now, but you know, take nothing away from the Fitchburg Red Raiders. They played a tough Leominster team. I think this is one of the best defensive and offensive runs that I've seen the Blue Devils come up with. The defense played excellent today, and I think that was one of the keys. Very, very important.
And, you know, Ed, I can't emphasize it enough. And you saw the raw emotion. You know, we saw Coach Mercier leaving here, and you know, he was misty-eyed, and I can't blame him. I'll be really honest with you. Can't blame him at all. We'll get a shot here of Coach Ray Kazenza, who's also misty-eyed. His first loss in 6 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just, you know, misty-eyed. These coaches have wanted it so bad, and they've fallen short just a couple of times. I mean, good for them, good for the team. These kids have earned it.
We'll put that right up here, Todd. We can switch to
certainly.
that and probably just leave it down on the field.
See what we can, come up with. So hard to do the on-air camera thing. I don't know how you did it for those Super Bowl games.
It was interesting. But as you can see from the pictures we're giving you up here, that, you know, it's a swarm of fans on the field for the LHS Blue Devils. A well-deserved win. You know, history may be proven itself where we talked about 6 wins in a row, then a loss. 6 wins in a row, then a loss. This was Leominster's day to win because they had the 6 losses in a row, and they came out victorious. Great job. You know, I'd like to congratulate all the seniors on this team. They've stuck with it all year long. You know, the coaching staff really came up today and made some great calls, and those kids on the field really did it. And, I mean, I'm telling you, they're kids. And they really had to rise to the occasion to win this one.
And, you know, Ed, another thing that I think we mentioned, you know, we were a little sad about the crowd when the game started. The crowd turned out today. Congratulations to the city of Leominster. You showed up today. You showed up and you helped them win the ball game. When you show up and you support the team in a positive manner, it's amazing the results you can see. And everybody thought this was impossible. I will say that although on paper the Devils statistically were the better football team, everybody said, no, they can't win. They're losers. They can't win. There's no way they can win because Fitchburg is so much better mentally. Forget about mentally. It was won on the football field today by players that were well coached, well played, hustled all the way. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to the fans for turning out today and supporting the team. Support them positively. It's amazing how far people can go.
You know, Todd, another thing that really I'm impressed with today is the fact that, you know, I was reading the paper this morning, the bet that the 2 mayors have had. And the mayor, Mazzarella, who, of course, is my boss, was going to have to wear a Fitchburg Red Raider jersey with his name on the back. And it would have been a heck of a work week this week. So, you know, that
He's also lost the last 6 years. He swept the steps of Fitchburg City Hall. He swept their sidewalks. I hope he got a good deal this year because, man, does this guy deserve it.
I think you ought to close City Hall, don't you?
I agree.
All right.
How about Monday off for everybody?
I think that'd be a good idea. Mayor, if you want to call El. No, I'm just kidding. But congratulations. Let me see if we can find our
Coaches squaring off over on the far side, and a lot to be said. Assistant coaches and Larry Bizzato, now a handshake. But one assistant coach jumped in there and got right in the face of Larry Bizzato, and that's absolutely asinine. That right there is the summation of the problems I have with the city of Fitchburg. And sometimes they just do things that really, in the happiest situation one team can have, people getting in the face of other coaches instead of just shaking their hands and saying congratulations and going away. It is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. And again, you're wrong. Goodbye. You're gone. Get him out of the stadium. He's wrong.
I don't know what that was all about, but, you know, it's just
It's a poor excuse of whatever it is.
This is the coach, I believe, here that was looking to have words with Coach Bizzato, and I'm going to put my money on Coach Bizzato because
I always bet on the bigger guy.
If you lose, you lose, and you know that you got to lose gracefully too. You know, you got to eat crow once in a while, and if you can eat it like a man, then that's the way to do it.
Devils have been doing it the last 6 years, Ed, and you know they got their shot to celebrate. And I don't think I've saw anything like I saw last year at Doyle Field when the Fitchburg fans rushed the field and were obnoxious down on Doyle Field, desecrating the place. Leominster very orderly rushed the field. They've taken their celebration down to the far end zone, away from the Fitchburg fans, to avoid any further altercation. And you know, I'll be really honest, I haven't seen anything disrespectful done to Crocker Field as was done last year at Doyle.
No, it's time to get the red shirts off the field and go eat some crow. Let's put it that way, you know.
I know my turkey's going to taste great. For the first time in 6 years, turkey is going to taste good, Ed.
Absolutely. We just give you a shot at the coaches that they're still complaining about something. Well, you know what? You lost, guys. Go home. Let's go back to the Leominster crowd.
Let's go back to the blue.
I'm kind of ripping my headphones off here. I'm going to try to get you some.
There we go.
Oh, there's a little more slack. Go into the end zone with. Uh-oh, I just hit something here. What did I hit here?
Fitchburg's gone off the air. Oh, whoops. Oh, the power's gone.
They killed us. They heard us talking about it. Yep.
Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Okay. Yes, it is November. How are you? Tony Selly joining us here, and his father is running shirtless across Crocker and maybe running all the way to Doyle Field. I don't know, but
let's see if we can just catch the Leominster Blue Devils as they leave the field victorious here today by a score of 19-14 to win the 121st meeting of the Fitchburg Red Raider Leominster Blue Devils.
The 99th
Turkey Bowl.
Leominster improves their record to now 54 wins, 58 losses, and 9 ties. Fitchburg will fall to 58 wins, 54 losses, and 9 ties. But again, going into next year's 100th Turkey Day game ought to be interesting. Of course, the 100th game was in 1983. It was the 100th overall meeting. But the 100th Turkey Day game, really establishing this Turkey Day rivalry next year at Doyle Field, will be fantastic to be at.
It'll be a good one, yes, sir.
And there'll be plenty of bitter people there, I'm sure, on both sides, especially if they're wearing red. So, with that said, there should be plenty of fun coming up next year. And again, great job by the Leominster team and coaching staff.
Coach Bizzato taking photos out at this is kind of a bittersweet for Coach Bizzato because this is where he played all his high school games. You know, there was an article in the paper this morning that says, you know, once a Raider, always a Raider. Once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. But here's an example of Coach Bizzato was really come over to the side and taking his son to higher standards and come out victorious here today at Crocker Field.
And a great job to all the seniors who will move on. And I know we'll see Anthony Bizzato and probably Adam Cordio playing somewhere in the next level. I'd say both of them are a guarantee. And again, I look forward to seeing what they develop into. They've been great here through the 6 years I've been here. They've been fantastic. They were here for a few. And again, good for them. They deserve this one. And again, they'll remember this forever, taking it to the next level.
I'm just trying to see if I can find our cameramen, but I don't see them anywhere. So maybe they got beat up and they're gone. Well, you know what, Todd? We're going to wrap it up here at Crocker Field.
It's been a great year, Ed.
I want to thank you for coming in and doing the guest speaking with us today.
Well, it's been great to be
I'll
here.
shake your hand, and nobody can
Thank
see us,
you.
but we got cameras moving around here. It was a great deal. Great congratulations to the Leominster High football team for a great season, and to finish off with a great win here at the Turkey Bowl at Crocker Field. My turkey's going to taste wonderful. Anything we can do. We enjoyed the whole program this year. Thanks to sponsors, everybody that came in, especially the Jonathan Penning Fan Club, did a great job, kept us online. And wherever, Jack, you are, I hope you got your shirt on. That's going to do it here from Crocker Field. I'm Ed Cataldo.
Todd Robbins, thank you so much, folks. 1914, the final Blue Devils.
Thank you. So where is he? He's out there with his shirt off somewhere.